Live from the Busch Light Studios.
40-year-old adolescents, felons, power drinkers, and trustees of modern chemistry.
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
Were you going to have a party here tonight, son? I don't know what that was all about.
Streaming live from
HitThatLine.com.
That seducer and spoiler must be stopped. He's extremely dangerous.
This is The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? Stop what you're doing and listen.
The Morning Rush starts right now.
Yes, sir.
Woo pig! That's the same text I got over and over last night as Arkansas goes into Rupp Arena and dominates the Wildcats. My goodness gracious. That's what Doyle and Cersei text in already this morning. I know we're going to get a lot of text at 877-377-6963. Usually we kind of slowly walk into the show. Can't do that this morning because of what the team did last night. I mean, my goodness. Could you ask for a better performance from those guys? Kentucky, who also had a winning streak heading into this game outside, and I'm talking about conference. We know they lost that Kansas game. Kind of like Arkansas, losing to Baylor. You smoked them last night. You punked them. I saw some Kentucky sports radio guys said Arkansas walked in to their arena and punked them last night. You absolutely blew the doors off. That's why Big Blue Nation was leaving with like 4 minutes to go. They knew it was inevitable. They knew it was over. But you missed a couple free throws down the stretch. I know Muss wanted some of those back, and I know the execution wasn't, in his mind, flawless, but that game was well in hand last night. A lot of guys we have to congratulate and credit this morning. Mykal Mitchell just stoned Oscar Tshiebwe. 7-7 from a National Player of the Year candidate. Mykal had a block party again, this time in Rupp. Anthony Black, 19-5, 4-5, 5 steals. Couple to start out the second half was awesome. Then Devo Davis, who hit clutch shot after clutch shot after clutch shot. I mean, guys, you can't say enough about what this basketball team did last night. But we're going to try and do that in the next 3 hours here on a What's Your Beef Wednesday. I don't know what I'm going to be mad about after that win last night. We are brought to you by the Fence Man this morning. Now, Tommy always tells you Sean's great work. I can attest to Sean's great work as well because I've had companies and friends that have used him. So if you want to reach out to Sean and his team at the Fence Man, it's 479-782-3936. So whether it's residential repairs, whether it's commercial security, curb appeal, it doesn't really matter. If you need a good fence, call Sean and his team. 479-782-3936. The company that you can trust with your Nets fence. It's not going to fall down in a year. There's not going to be crevices and mistakes. This team does it right. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. Christian, why don't you pop your mic in? Because I know you probably have plenty of thoughts after last night. And again, you do as well. 877-377-6963. Your first takeaway from last night.
Well, I watched the game at a watch party kind of for my living community. I just had a feeling it was going to be one of those very entertaining games. I didn't necessarily know we would I wasn't too confident we would win, but once the game started, I was like, man, we're keeping up with these guys. We're just as talented as they are. Every time they went on a little run, we would answer it was a great back and forth game in the first half. It had the feeling of, okay, Arkansas, if they just stay the course, they'll eventually start pulling away. And that's exactly what happened. I mean, it was a neck-and-neck game until, the second half, kind of midway, late second half. And Arkansas's talent, man, it's one of those games where you can really say that Arkansas had the same amount of talent, if not more, than Kentucky, and it showed.
Yeah, I'll say this, Cason Wallace, great player. We saw it last night. He is going to be tough to manage inside of Bud Walton Arena. That's something that's going to be really, really fun to watch, what Kentucky does when they step foot back in the final regular season game. But you got the better of them. Think about this. Muss is 3-1 against Cal. 3-1. How many other coaches can say that? You can about your coach. And the game that they lost, you could say they probably should have won. They had nowhere near the talent in Muss's first year. They still competed. Cal got thrown out, we know. It's close second half. Give credit to Kenny Payne, who's not doing good at Louisville. But that night, or that day, whatever it was, he was having a lot of success. And outside of that, again, that is where you are against Kentucky right now. And people notice it. I mean, Kentucky is not the same program that it was 5, 10, even 15 years ago. They are behind. They are not what they are. They have not adjusted to other basketball coaches being better in this league and recruiting being more difficult. Now, they have a really good class coming in next year, number 1 in the country for the top, I think, 15 or 20 players, but I don't even know if Cal's going to be there. Now, okay, we got to put this in perspective. They lost for the first time in SEC tries, I think it's 7 games. I think they had won 6 straight ending into last night, and they lost. But you beat them, and you beat them handily, too. That's the worst home loss that Cal has had in a while in Rupp Arena. It was awesome. Dennis in Springdale texting in this morning, our friend over at Trucks. He said he felt like the defense played inspired, and the offense was brilliant at times. Now, second half defensively was much better than it was in the first. Muss was very adamant about that in both his conversation with Chuck and the media after the game. But the passing was also really, really fun to watch how consistent they were, getting open shots, finding open teammates, their best transition performance of the year.
Yeah, and the thing about last night, it was a complete game all around, offense, defense. And, you know, we were kind of thinking, all right, we need one guy to step up and put us over the hump. But it wasn't just one guy last night. Ricky Council had 20 points. Anthony Black had 19. You had Jordan Walsh, who was doing it on both ends of the floor. The Mitchell twins, you know, they did really well at keeping Sheboy off the boards and keeping him off his spot. You know, that one play in particular where Mitchell blocked him 2 or 3 times in the same play was pretty cool to see.
Mikal, again, made Oscar Sheboy's night horrible. He was up in him, staying straight up. Mikel's got 2 inches on him probably, and Oscar was affected against Colin Castleton this past Saturday night. He was affected against Mikal Mitchell last night. Height bothers him. I'm forgetting the Alabama big man that also did a really good job on Mikal Mitchell earlier this season. It's bothered, and not Mikal, excuse me, Oscar Sheboy. It has bothered Sheboy, and Arkansas had a great game plan once again against the Kentucky Wildcats. Jamie May, really happy about the performance. He's speechless. Well, hopefully, a lot of our other listeners aren't speechless based on the text that we've received. And again, you're welcome to call in as well. We're going to be taking this throughout the morning. Chuck's going to be joining me. And you may wonder, hey, where's Tommy? Well, just to remind you, he's fishing the next 2 days. He took 2 days off. So I think he'll definitely be talking with his buddies down there about what's happening with the Arkansas basketball team. How could you not? Listen, there's a couple things that happened last night. State of the Union, LeBron breaking Kareem's record. I think there was one other big national story, but this is what we're talking about this morning because it's such a big-time win. You can't underestimate and undervalue a win in Rupp, and a win by 15? 15? Man, that was fun last night. This morning, we are brought to you by Riley Farm Dental. At the entrance of Riley Farm, they always provide every type of dental care and procedures you need for your family. General dentistry, braces, implants, cosmetics. Dr. Sparkman, Nanda, and Farmer give all their patients better lives with a better smile, more confident, and a comfortable experience every time. They're at 5901 Riley Farm Drive, Suite A, at the entrance of Riley Farm. Call 226-3500 or check them out online at RileyFarmDental.com. Still a lot to get into. Chuck is going to join us. Say what you want. This guy's ready to talk about the Hogs this morning. He probably only got 4 or 5 hours of sleep, but I guarantee you he's going to be a ball of energy this morning based on what he saw live in Rupp Arena last night. A lot to get to. Stay with us. Morning Rush right here on ESPN Arkansas.
Arkansas's home for the best sports talk.
This is Phil Steele, and you're listening to the Morning Rush.
Wheels RV wants you to seek out all the natural state has to offer this year. Explore Arkansas in a new RV from Grand Design, Forest River, KZ, Heartland, Keystone, or Alliance. All the best brands at the best prices. Enjoy peace of mind with our lifetime warranty on every new RV and a mobile service shuttle to keep you camping. So come on in and discover why Wheels was voted the best RV dealership in Northwest Arkansas. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
It's a new year. Why not put a new to you vehicle in your driveway? Road Chevrolet wants to buy your vehicle today, and that means you can get out of your old ride and into a great car, truck, or SUV from Road Chevrolet. In fact, trucks starting at only $14,482. Yeah, trucks starting at $14,482. Find new roads. Road Chevrolet, just off I-540 exit 2A Van Buren. Prices you'll love, people you can trust.
Watch every Hog game this season at Joe's Grill and Cantina, your home for half-price apps and taps during every Hog game. With TVs all around the restaurant, you'll have a front row seat for all the action. Half-price appetizers like Joe's Sampler Platter, Ballpark Nachos, 10-layer dip, brisket nachos, and Mexican pizza. And ask about Joe's tailgate packages to make your football experience even better in the comfort of your home. Half-price apps and taps for every Hog game at Joe's Grill and Cantina, 3400 South 74th Street, across from Harps.
Locally owned Lumber One can handle all of your building needs. They've built their business on having great relationships with everybody from contractors and builders to the everyday build-it-yourself. Lumber One has a full-line door shop to handle all of your door, window, and trim needs. And along with lumber, roofing and drywall products, attic wall and floor insulation is available. Lumber One also does blueprint takeoff with access to design services with estimates available. So go where the pros go. Lumber One, located on Industrial Park Road in Van Buren.
Tired of constant computer issues at work? And who knows what the real problem is? Is it the router? No, it's the hardware. Wait, they said it was the software. Call Hashtag Managed IT Services. Their multifaceted approach to IT support guarantees that everything is working at optimum performance. And Hashtag prevents the small problems from becoming big issues. Hashtag Managed IT Services in Van Buren. 479-802-4978. That's 479-802-4978. Hashtag Technology without the headache.
Congratulations, you're having a little girl.
At that moment, everything changed. Our hopes and dreams for ourselves were instantly replaced by our hopes and dreams for her. We got life insurance policies from Shelter Insurance, so that regardless of what life throws at us, we'll still be able to provide the world to her.
Shelter Life Insurance Company, Columbia, Missouri.
Call Randy Milam in Alma or Brandon Zimmerman in Barley.
Are you a qualified CDL driver with local or over-the-road experience? Tired of driving older equipment? Not having enough home time? Feel like a number? You need Patriot Transport. Patriot Transport, based in Centerville, with locations in Russellville and Van Buren, provides you with late model equipment, has a family atmosphere, and provides you the opportunity to make $95,000 per year. Patriot Transport works with you to get the miles you want and the family time you need. Change your life today. Visit PatriotTransport.com to apply. That's PatriotTransport.com.
Hi, this is Ricky Smith, head basketball coach for the Northside Lady Bears. I dial 782-8940. That's 782-8940.
This is Northside head basketball coach Eric Burnett. I call 782-8940. That's 782-8940.
Take advantage of York Factory rebates on high-efficiency HVAC products.
782-8940.
Harry Robinson Buick GMC wants to buy your vehicle, and they'll pay top dollar today. Pre-owned car values are at an all-time high, and your car is worth more today than it ever will be again. If you are driving a 2013 model or newer with 120,000 miles or less, bring it to Harry Robinson Buick GMC, and they will pay you more for your trade. Even if you don't want to buy a new car, they will still buy yours. Harry Robinson Buick GMC, exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Good morning to the Morning Rush, everybody.
Council right side on Sheboy to the lane and one. It goes for Council. The foul's on Sheboy. Hogs are up by 8. Ricky will try to make it 9.
Watch the Morning Rush on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch. Just search Hit That Line.
Devontae Davis said following the game that pick and roll getting to Oscar was a big key, big emphasis heading into last night's performance. You heard Ricky Council and one from Chuck. Chuck's going to join us in about 15 minutes. You saw them take advantage of Oscar Tshiebwe not being efficient in the pick and roll. I guarantee you they'll be trying to do that same thing at home in Bud Walton Arena. Final game of the season coming up in March. Still a lot of text to get into, including David and Alma, who has some thoughts, and we'll tell you what he had to say coming up. But first, we want to tell you about our friend Ben Thomas at World of Wireless. 877-305-DISH, your local Dish dealer. Lock in your price with 2 years with Dish. You can get whole home DVR service, high def in every room. They're fixing vacuums. I know every one of you has an old vacuum. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. Well, if you need it fixed, Ben Thomas and his team at World Wireless can do that. Free local installation from a local company you can count on. Call 877-305-DISH. Ask about how you can get high-speed internet and Dish when you call WOW now. 877-305-DISH. David and Alma called it the best game, the best win of the season. Y'all, it's really hard to say it's not. I know that San Diego State game was a lot of fun. I know you overcame South Carolina on the road Saturday, and that was tight. I know that you beat Texas A&M, a really quality team, and Missouri, another quality team at home. But you went into Rupp Arena and really smashed them in the second half. You took away their will. You took away their spirits. That doesn't happen to Kentucky at home much at all. South Carolina barely beat them earlier this season, but you annihilated this team last night. There is nothing sweeter than watching Kentucky fans leave for the exits with about 4 minutes to go. Nothing better than that. And I know that sometimes it's hard as a player to concentrate and realize the game is still within striking distance, which I thought Kentucky was going to make a run at certain points, but Arkansas was able to, again, just push it back at times. JT listening to us this morning in Laurel, Mississippi, saying, I think Arkansas is going to be a tough team to beat if they continue to play the way they did last night. Now, maybe I'm wrong, but I think last night was an anomaly on how they're going to shoot. Y'all, they shot a SEC record, tied for it with field goal percentage with the win inside of Rupp Arena. That's an anomaly what they did last night. They had their best offensive performance of the season, I'd say, in terms of the quality of the opponent they played. Kentucky's a pretty good defensive team. Now, they don't block as many shots as they usually do. They don't have an Anthony Davis, a Willie Cauley-Stein, a Karl Anthony Towns. They don't have one of those guys. Oscar's not as big as and forceful, but that's still a good defensive team. And you made them look like a junior varsity squad last night. You need to continue up this success. You need to continue this momentum when the Mississippi State Bulldogs come into Bud Walton Arena this Saturday. Colin Birmingham said he knew that Arkansas was going to win this game when Jordan Walsh, you remember that shot in the first half he had to take with the shot clock dwindling down, launched it, buried it. Just buried it. And there was a couple other shots, like Mikal Mitchell hit a jumper right as the shot clock expired. I think Arkansas got some friendly rolls, which you typically don't get in away arenas. Things just were going Arkansas's way last night, and they don't necessarily do that all the time. Now, Eric Musselman was very positive about this team after the game. He said there's been marked improvement with the way his team's played.
We're playing really good basketball at the right time. I think we're a team that continues to improve. You know, I've seen some great growth defensively. The last two games, some crucial stops at crucial moments in the game. You know, so just really, really proud of how the team has continued to evolve and continued to improve.
Anyone want to dispute that? Compared to where you were at the beginning of conference play to where you are now? It's night and day. And I was wondering, what about the quality of opponents you beat? Because LSU, South Carolina, Ole Miss, they ain't good. Well, I mean, you beat, in that stretch, A&M, who won again last night against Auburn. Great game, by the way. And you just went to Rupp and kicked the crap out of Cal's team. So, can't really push back on this team right now. And the road games you've lost, LSU, Missouri, Baylor, been one-possession games. One-possession games. This team, if a few more bounces go their way, a few more calls, we're talking a completely different outlook of the season right now. Completely different. And now, of course, usually it takes about 45 minutes before we get into this, but heard Ruskin and Zach talking. Now, I had thought this for a while now. I had no one telling me this was going to happen, but now there's rumors swirling about that Nick's going to come back on Saturday, make his grand entrance back to Arkansas basketball. There's been no confirmation on that. I doubt Eric Musselman tells us one way or another later in this week with his next media availability, which will be on Thursday. But there's at least some speculation out there that Nick's going to be back for this game. I'm curious to see if he does come back, how it kind of adjusts. Chris texted in this morning. Mikel Mitchell got another block. Whew. Oscar Tshiebwe had no room to work last night. Mikel Mitchell, from being where he was, playing spot minutes to not even getting on the stat sheet at some points because he didn't play, to now at some parts of the game taking over for his brother because of his impact defensively. Anthony Black called him a dog last night, an enforcer. That's exactly what he was. I mean, whether it was Oscar Tshiebwe, one of the Kentucky wings or guards, they had to meet Mikel Mitchell at the rim. And I'm watching the Oklahoma City Thunder. So we got two things on the television last night. We got the Lakers and Thunder, who, by the way, Jalen Williams, Isaiah Joe, Jalen's starting to play a little more. So if you want to watch two former Razorback players that are having good seasons, make sure you watch the Thunder more. He takes a charge on LeBron. LeBron helps him up. He's like, dang, I watched this kid in college do it. Now he's doing it to me. That's how they did it last year. This year's team's blocking shots. 6 in the second half, I think, is what they ended up with. And a lot of that's been Mikel Mitchell. Not that Makai hasn't had an impact, and not that some of the other guys haven't blocked shots. I think Anthony got one last night, too. The guards, I mean, you just talk about the length of this team. Devo's your shortest player that's been playing lately. He's 6'4". Probably 6'3", but he's listed at 6'4". His length, too, is pretty incredible. This is a long, lanky team. Long, lanky team. Jordan Walsh, always an issue when going up against him. Ask Keontae George. Even Keontae George, who hit some tough shots, got his shot blocked a couple times in that Baylor game. This team's starting to find it. Muss has won 14 of the last 15 in February. Home game this Saturday, Budweiser Arena, 5 o'clock. It's going to be a packed house. This morning, we are brought to you by our friends at Wheels RV. Chris and Lee J and all their team members always deliver at Wheels RV. You can see the natural state. Who doesn't love exploring this great state? There are so many cities, so many waterfalls, so many different scenic views that I want to get to before I croak, and I can do it in brand new Forest River, KZ, Heartland, Keystone, or Alliance. All the best brands at the best prices. Enjoy peace of mind with our lifetime warranty on every new RV and our mobile service shuttle to keep you camping. So stop on by and see why Wheels RV was voted the best RV dealership in Northwest Arkansas, 5 miles west off I-49, exit 72. Seek, explore, and discover with Wheels RV. You know what? Chuck probably didn't get a lot of sleep. I guarantee he'll be fired up this morning. He joins us next on The Morning Rush.
Shop local, eat local, be local. You're listening to The Morning Rush.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
The Fence Man, the company you can trust when it comes to building quality fencing and gates, is looking for quality people to join the Fence Man team. If you are a fence builder or have building or welding experience, apply in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man offers great pay and a $500 sign-on bonus. Join the top fence building team and get a $500 sign-on bonus. The Fence Man. Apply today in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man is an equal opportunity employer.
Now that's a dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite, white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline remains your number one source for all your sports betting this season. Everything from the NFL and bowl season to esports. You'll find the latest odds, team matchup info, player news, and game trends at BetOnline. BetOnline features live betting, free contests, and live scores for almost any sport or game imaginable. We're the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite leagues and events. Head to betonline.ag to join and receive a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Make sure to use the promo code BELIEVE to receive your rewards. That's BLEAV. BetOnline, where the game starts.
Ed Sheeran used to sing in the church choir, but now bad habits reveal his desire. The old saying goes, sow a thought, reap an action. Sow an action, reap a habit. Sow a habit, reap a character. Sow a character, reap a destiny. God knows you can't overcome. That's why the faith that saves is trusting what Jesus has already done. There's nothing else you can say or use or do. Bad habits lead to doom. I'm Pastor Heath from Woodland. Think about it.
Hi, I'm Mike Van Jr. with Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash. You can count on my team to provide top quality pressure washing and exterior cleaning services for your property.
What all do you service?
Fence washing, gutter, or deep concrete cleaning for your home, commercial business, and more.
Do you have insurance?
Absolutely. We're covered with liability insurance, and we also use safe and effective wash methods, leaving your home or business looking brand new.
I guess I need to go to your website, mjmobilewash.com.
Or just give me a call at 479-763-5561.
Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash.
One call cleans it all.
When you stay overnight, you want the accommodations to feel comfortable and feel like home. Well, at Beechwood Pinnacle Hotels, you get exactly that. You can check out all their locations at bphotels.com. They have locations in Fayetteville, Bentonville, Little Rock, Jonesboro, Conway, El Dorado, Arkadelphia, North Little Rock, Bryant, Hot Springs, Ardmore, Oklahoma, and coming soon to Kansas City. bphotels.com. Beechwood Pinnacle Hotels, looking forward to serving you in 2023.
Are you looking for the best Razorbacks insight and analysis?
Hell yes.
How about listening to an Arkansas football legend?
Matt Jones, all he does is make big plays.
What's the voice of the Hogs have to say?
Hey, what a great crowd last night.
Don't forget about the Omahogs.
The Hogs are going to Omaha.
Matt Jones, Chuck Barrett, and Phil Elson, the best in the business on the Hit That Line Podcast Network. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and share.
Buy your vehicle and they'll pay top dollar today. Pre-owned car values are at an all-time high, and your car is worth more today than it ever will be again. If you are driving a 2013 model or newer with 120,000 miles or less, bring it to Harry Robinson Buick GMC, and they will pay you more for your trade. Even if you don't want to buy a new car, they will still buy yours. Harry Robinson Buick GMC, exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Y'all ready for this?
You're listening to The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
I thought what they did at the end of the game Saturday was evidence that they are learning how to win on the road. Not perfect by any stretch. Those waning moments right there, that's how you learn to win on the road.
You know, that sure is a timely clip this morning because they took what they learned on Saturday and then they upped it in Rupp Arena last night. Chuck's going to join us coming up. I'm excited to hear from him, but he was live there last night, get his thoughts on the game. First, I want to tell you about our friends first at Pradco Fishing. You hear Bruce Stan with us here every Tuesday. Well, I was getting to our Pradco Pyramid of Power, which maybe Arkansas inches into later next week. We'll have to wait and see what they do on Saturday. But I know Tommy's fishing right now at Gaston's. And listen, y'all know me. I'm a city slicker. I don't know much about fishing. But what I do know is Pradco makes some great lures. So whether it's the Umbrella Flash Mob Jr., the Smithwick Original Suspending Rattling Rogue, or the Bobby Garland Baby Shad, you're going to have a great time fishing because you're going to catch so many fish. And you can always find all of these different lures at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle stores all over the place. Whether it's the Umbrella Flash Mob Jr., the Smithwick Original Suspending Rattling Rogue, or Bobby Garland Baby Shad, you'll have a great time fishing this weekend, right now like Tommy is, or whenever. Check them out with Pradco. Chuck, I'm going to ask you the same thing you asked Muss last night. How about them Hogs, man?
Hey, wasn't that something else? What a great win last night.
Lee. I mean, I'm always envious of you, Chuck. But to be there last night in a win that you have not beat them that bad since 94 in Rupp. You got Kentucky fans walking out 4 minutes to go. I mean, last night must have been special to watch in person.
Well, it was such a good, close first half that, you kind of wondered if it was going to be that way throughout the game. But what happened right off the bat in the second half, the way Arkansas stole passes and got breakaways, and, Cal's calling a timeout 90 seconds into the second half. I mean, that's just not something you do every time you play at Rupp. So I thought Black kind of took over the ball game 5 minutes. And, it reminded me, I'm old enough to remember when Arkansas won there in 1992. And I can remember how their fans hated Todd Day and hated Oliver Miller. And last night they hated Anthony Black the same way. I mean, they hated him the same way, and I think he fed off of it just like those guys did way back then.
I thought it was funny when Anthony was asked after the game, just the atmosphere and getting to play at Rupp, and he's alluded to it a few times this season. I don't think he expects to come back for another year, so it's a unique opportunity to play in a building like that where there's so many legends, so many great coaches have passed through those halls. And I mean, Chuck, he was 19 points, had 5 assists, I think 4 rebounds and 5 steals. And I mean, they were just throwing lackadaisical passes to start off the second half that he took them for lunch, man.
Well, I thought Arkansas's ability to turn them over and, to ultimately be plus 13 in points off turnovers, that's a really big stat. I mean, you look back at the end of the night, and I thought, to force 15 from Kentucky and to score 23 off of that was significant because, they did give up some offensive rebounds. They gave up more than I'm sure they'd like to. But it's not like Kentucky really converted every one of those putbacks. The differential in second chance points wasn't like the differential Arkansas enjoyed in points off turnovers. And, yeah, at the start, I mean, Black was, he was picking them apart. But he wasn't the only one. I mean, they stole passes on the perimeter, blocked shots inside, and they blocked shots and got possession too. I mean, sometimes you got guys swatting them into the first row and they inbound it and make a shot, and it didn't really mean as much as, you might like it to. But, I mean, they were blocking shots and taking the ball. So I just thought everything defensively in the second half was really good. And they shot 72% on the other end, and that's the dividend.
Chuck, there's been points this season where we've given a lot of credit to Mekhi Mitchell because he's deserved it. But I don't know if we can say enough about Makel Mitchell this morning. I mean, we talked about the block party on their birthday. There was a block party last night. That is a National Player of the Year candidate that, for the most part, was limited. 7-7 for a guy that headed into this season as one of the best players in the country. And after Chuck, he had like 30 and 18 last year?
30 and 18.
I mean, and and this is after falling a performance where you're at 2 of 14 against Colin Castleton. And Makel just said, "You're not doing it on me tonight." And it wasn't just him. I mean, they dug it out of the post. They just made it hard on him all night long.
Well, they did. He was frustrated. And, Sheboy, the 7 points was impressive. The 7 rebounds was probably what was most impressive. And they never let him take over. They just never let him take over the ball game underneath. And, as we learned last year when Arkansas won at Fayetteville, I mean, he can score 30 and get 18 boards and you can still win. But when you do what you did last night, that's obviously a little bit better. But I thought both Mitchells played great. I mean, Mekhi had 9 rebounds. Makel had 15 points and I guess 5 blocks, but Mekhi had 9 boards. Mm-hmm. So both those guys did a really good job. And I wondered if they'd have to go deep into the bench. I wondered, for example, would you have to spend 3 or 4 fouls with Kamani Johnson in this ball game? But, you didn't have to do that. And they did pretty much, what they needed to do all night in that spot.
This is from Brad in Fayetteville, kind of referencing Bracketology, asking the question how big last night's win was. It was huge. Quad 1 win. I think that's your only second one this season. You went back-to-back in road games against a team that, Chuck, like yourself, had won. I think they had won 6 straight SEC games. You've now won 5 straight SEC games. And that the questions were, some of them were answered last night about this basketball team, and they did it on both ends of the floor. It wasn't just one-sided. That was the key. I mean, offensively, they had their best game of the season, and then just defensively in that second half, Kentucky didn't have anywhere to go.
Well, we're just going to have to see how it affects Arkansas in terms of their bracketology. If you continue to win, it's a big win. Now, Kentucky's not ranked. It is a quad 1 win, as you say, but this is not a ranked team, and it's not like you went out there and knocked off a top 5, top 10 team on the road. And I'm not taking anything away from the win, but I'm just saying in terms of bracketology, I think it helps you. But it's not the end-all, be-all. And, for example, if you win a road game over Tennessee or Alabama, in terms of bracketology, that's going to help you more than this one. But this was a big win. It was I think that we talked about what we saw in that South Carolina ball game and what you had a chance to build off of because you won. And, we saw them building off that in this game last night. And I thought Arkansas would play well. I mean, Muss just kind of has the magic. I mean, what are they, 15-1 last 2 years plus now in February? I mean, that's about as good as it gets.
He's 3-1 against Cal, too. And the only loss was a game where Cal got ejected and you had a lead in the second half.
Yeah. Beat them 3 straight times now? Is that right?
Yeah.
Chance to make it 4 here in a few weeks, couple of weeks.
And I know you don't do this. I always get on opposing message boards after games because I just want to feel their thoughts. And there was a lot of Muss greater than Cal comments last night. And I mean, it's hard to, at least in this little time window that we have based on the head-to-head, based on the NCAA tournament the last 2.5 years or so, it's hard to dispute that. And those are Kentucky fans. Those aren't Arkansas fans logging on, making up accounts and doing that. It's a lot of Kentucky fans. And, dude, the Kentucky Sports Radio postgame show, Chuck, oh, it was glorious, man. And not that Zach and Derek's wasn't fantastic as well, but my goodness gracious, hearing tears come through the radio and anger from Big Blue Nation is just about as pure as it gets.
Well, I'm not going to get that carried away. I will say that, Kentucky's still Kentucky, and it's not going to be a pushover when you play them next time. And it's fun right now. It's fun to beat them. I mean, it's fun to beat them. It's fun to beat Cal. I wouldn't put dirt over them just yet.
Yeah.
I mean, they're still Kentucky.
And they're going to come in with everything they've got. The final game of the season, Arkansas's got to be ready because Kentucky's going to be gunning for them after last night. 877-377-6963 is our number that you can call or text in this morning like Jimmy in Conway has. Jimmy, go ahead. What's up, man?
Top of the morning to you, fellas.
Hey, Jimmy.
Hey, I watching this game, it was a total transformation as far as you could have changed the color on the jerseys. This is exactly what Kentucky has done to us for years. Out-bigged us, had the big guys, and we didn't have enough big guys. They didn't have enough last night to be able to fight with us. And there's nothing better to me than that. I know Kentucky's not ranked or anything, but it's almost like in a football game, us being able to just run it down Alabama's throat, and they cannot stop you. And I love that. We beat them at their own game, to me, and there's nothing better than that. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Jimmy.
I thought Kentucky, in terms of their big guys, and I'm not really including Sheboy in this, but I don't think they're as chiseled. I don't think they're quite as strong inside as they've been. There's some guys there. Toppin's a finesse player. Collins, Damian Collins, I think's his name, the guy that came in number 4, that came in, scored a couple of baskets last night. He's a finesse player. They got a lot of 6'9", 6'10" guys on the bench. I mean, they got a bunch of them on the bench. I thought last night watching them warm up, there's no team in basketball looks better warming up than Kentucky. I mean, they got thoroughbreds all over that floor. I mean, you watch them warm up, it's like, man, that's what a basketball team looks like. But, they're not quite as tough inside as they've been. At least they weren't last night. But, again, Arkansas's got to play them again. I mean, you got to play them again. So I wouldn't get too happy just yet. There's a lot of stuff left to go, and Kentucky's going to come in here on that last Saturday with the idea that they're just going to ruin our day. And I don't think they're that good. I don't think it's a vintage type Kentucky team where they're going to go on the road and just ruin somebody's party. But they're good enough to beat you. And again, I wouldn't put dirt on them just yet.
Yeah, that's fair. And there's also a chance that you could play them at Nashville, depending on how the bracket
well, you're
shakes
right.
out.
That's exactly right.
So this is a team that you are not done with yet, as Chuck is saying. And but you know what? You want another crack at them. And this is why guys came to Arkansas. But this is the expectation of Arkansas basketball, to not just compete, but at times beat Kentucky. And you did it on their court, on your terms. That was, defensively last night at points, Kentucky looks shell-shocked. And I know that there's a couple of things we have to kind of put as an asterisk. Frederick apparently had busted ribs and was given it, and he went 0 for last night, didn't hit a shot. You've got Severe Wheeler who didn't play. I don't know if he'll play in the upcoming game in the final regular season matchup in March. That's something you have to talk about. I'll say this, though, Chuck. You saw him firsthand. That Casey Wallace kid, there's a reason that kid's probably going to lottery. He was phenomenal last night.
He's a good scorer. He's not as good a point guard as what Wheeler is. He's a good scorer, but I don't know about him manning the point. Just to be real blunt about it, I think they're better. When they get 25, 30 minutes out of Wheeler, they really kind of turned it around when they started. Wheeler got hurt, and when he came back, they just started bringing him off the bench. He rolled an ankle on Monday, I guess it was, and didn't play in the game last night. I don't know how long he's going to be out. It doesn't sound like it's terribly serious. But Wallace can score now. Wallace can score. But I thought Kentucky, in terms of their offense, their overall offense, I'm just not sure that, without what I would call a true point guard, they're going to be able to get into everything that they want to get into. You look at Wallace's numbers. Yeah, he scored 24 points. He had 5 turnovers. And, you go back and we were talking a little bit earlier about what happened at the start of the second half. Some of that was on him. Mm-hmm. And so that's why I say he's a great scorer, but I don't know if in a perfect world you've got him running the point as much as they had him running the point last night.
And you talk about turnovers. Arkansas didn't finish with that many. I thought it was funny. Anthony Black was talking after the game that he's kind of looking at the stat sheet. And it's like, yeah, I thought I did okay. And then he's like, I did have 6 turnovers, more than the rest of the team. He kind of smiled a little bit because he knows he has to clean that up. But, overall, Arkansas played a pretty decently clean game. And Muss called last night, Chuck, the best ball movement that they've had all year. Even in transition, they were, you had a couple passes from AB. I think there was one from Mikal Mitchell, one from Jalen Graham that were just on the money, and guys got easy layups.
Well, Arkansas had 19 assists last night on 32 made baskets, and that's really good. That's really good right there. It tells you that they're sharing the ball, and there were moments last night where they really were a cohesive offense, and those are good numbers. You make 32 baskets and have 19 assists, you've had a good night.
Yep. Well, Chuck, I'm at a point in my life at 28 years old. I've got to start thinking about not paying rent the rest of my life. I've got to think about a mortgage. And,
well, I got the guys.
Brandon and his team, man.
I got the guys for you. Weicker Realtors, a Griffin company. Those guys were my partners when it came time to buy or sell a home. And the first time that I partnered with them was the first time I'd bought a home. So they understand how to get you through that process when the time comes. Also partnering with them when it came time to sell a home, because once you get into it, I mean, you're going to buy and sell. And they really are the best trained in the business, and that was the best benefit to me. Because they know how to get you from contract to close. They understand the market. They know how to negotiate. And whether you're a buyer or a seller, you want that kind of person on your side of the table. Because that's when you've got a chance to get what you want at the end of the deal. And I think that's going to be your experience with Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company. Now, they've got an office in Fayetteville. They're in Springdale, Bentonville, Fort Smith. They're in Branson, Missouri now. And you can always log on to WeichertGriffin.com.
Let's talk to a Bearcat this morning. Dakota is in Mena. Dakota, go ahead, man.
Well, I got to call you on it. I live in Mena, but I coach over at Costacot River. I don't know that I can claim myself a Bearcat this morning, but hey, guys, I just want to comment on the game, and I'm as excited as anybody about the game. I was glued to the TV watching them last night. I thought Black rebounded outstanding. But there is just, I think we do have to remember and put it in perspective that Kentucky's not as good this year. They are still a very good team. That there's no telling what they're going to do in the postseason. But we got to kind of keep perspective, in the beginning of the season. This is just a game we're supposed to win, with how we thought the season would go. And, here we are. We don't need to act, in my opinion, we just don't need to act like this is the end-all, be-all. We need to just build off this and get better if we're really going to do something. Guys, I appreciate the show and love listening to you every morning. Y'all have a blessed week.
Dakota, appreciate it. We do need to take a couple things in perspective. Dakota's right. This is not a vintage Kentucky team. This is not the Anthony Davis Kentucky team. This is not a team that Cal has had that you're like, man, they've got 5 or 6 NBA guys on this roster. It's not. But this Kentucky team, Chuck, if you remember, was picked preseason to win the Southeastern Conference. There was a lot of, you got the National Player of the Year candidate in Oscar Tshiebwe that came back. You've got a couple other pieces that they're really excited about. 5-star in Case and Wallace, Livingston, brought back Severe Wheeler. So heading into this season, the Wildcats were expected to be really, really good. Now, they haven't been and met expectations relative to kind of injuries like Arkansas, but I also agreed with what he said. This isn't the end-all, be-all for this basketball team. This is a step of what they can do the rest of the way.
Well, if you remember at the start of the year, Kentucky was picked to win the league, and we were picked second. It's not going to work out that way. Neither one of those picks is going to be right. At the start of the season, Kentucky was ranked 4th? We were ranked 10th. Probably not going to turn out that way. So that's what happens. You are where you are, and Kentucky's not dead. And I always hesitate to do too much dancing when you got to play those guys again. They're going to come in here with the idea of just running the whole deal because we may be still rocking and rolling, and I know that place is going to be full on that day. There's games between now and then, but that's going to be the regular season finale. It's going to be Saturday afternoon. That place is going to be roaring. And it's going to be tough for Kentucky that day. But, no, I wouldn't go too crazy yet.
No, I think that's completely an accurate statement because, again, you're going to have to play them at least one more time, maybe in Nashville. Have to wait and see. I'll tell you one thing, though. Muss is happy where his locker room is right now.
Our locker room is feeling good. I thought the confidence level today at shoot-around was probably at a season high. When we had our film sessions, I thought we had great confidence. Just a great win for us, for sure.
They did have confidence. I heard Devontae Davis talking about this after the game. Chuck, we mentioned Muss is 3-1. Devo's 3-0 against Kentucky. He has never lost to Kentucky, and he was like, "Yeah, we were here Rupp 2 years ago. We won, beat them last year." And again, we got to put this. We got to not overjump this. You still got to play them again. They're going to give you everything they got. Last game in March, regular season wise, but Arkansas lately has done a fantastic job against Cal and the Wildcats.
Well, they won last night, but here's the deal. You got to play Mississippi State Saturday, and the whole thing may pivot on what happens at College Station next Wednesday night. I'm not saying that's going to be the case, but if there was ever a game that fits the term pivotal game, it's next Wednesday night down there in College Station. So, yeah, it was great to beat Kentucky. Arkansas was fantastic I mean, you shot 72% in the second half. Can't do much better than that, particularly on the road at a place like Rupp Arena. But you still got to keep playing. I mean, you still got to keep playing. And Mississippi State's not a pushover. And playing at Bud Walton Arena doesn't make it automatic. So, there's a lot of business left to tend to. They got 7 conference games left. Kentucky's one of them. There's 6 others. And what you do in those preceding 6 will determine how big that 7th one is. If you lay an egg between now and then, you may just have 2 underachieving teams on that last Saturday. I don't think that's going to be the case, but I wouldn't take anything for granted. I think this team right now, and I said this a couple of weeks ago, I think for the first time, really back then, and I think we see the evidence of it now, they're playing for each other. They're playing for each other now. When you have 19 assists on 32 made baskets, you're playing for one another. And I think that's where they are right now. They got to keep doing it because the season didn't end last night. Nobody passed out any rings last night. You played a great game, and now you got to keep doing it.
What you just said, I think about a sequence last night that you'll remember. So Arkansas gets a steal. Mekhi Mitchell dives on the loose ball, throws it to – I think it was Devo. Devo throws it ahead to Ricky, and then Ricky throws up that nice Showtime lob where AB throws it down. I mean, there were several plays right there where it was just boom, 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 assist, hockey assist. And I thought, there were times last night where this team was just not going to lose a 50-50 ball. It was a tough, gritty battle in the post or whatever, and they just weren't going to lose a 50-50 ball, and those came up huge last night, Chuck.
I thought Arkansas was more athletic than Kentucky, and I think that, that was evidenced in a lot of ways. And, you can't always quantify effort, but sometimes you can. But I just thought Arkansas athletically was the superior team last night.
How many times can you say that in the last 2 decades? I mean, how many times can you look at a Razorback basketball team, look at a Wildcat basketball team, and say, the team in red and white, they're the superior athletic team? I mean, I can't think of an occasion outside of maybe last night like you're talking about. It's crazy how much things have changed lately.
Well, now, again, I'm not going to throw dirt on Kentucky yet. I'm just not. But Arkansas was the better team last night. They certainly were. And I thought they were more athletic last night. And that's part of the reason that they won. But, let's not go nuts.
Yeah. I'm sorry. It's a win against Kentucky. I'm trying to rein myself in as much as possible, but Zach texted me last night.
Go ahead and enjoy it. I mean, everybody ought to enjoy it. I'm not saying don't enjoy it.
Got to relish in it as much as possible. All right, we still got 2 more hours with Chuck this morning on the Morning Rush here on a What's Your Beef Wednesday. I got to be honest, I have no idea what I'm being mad about because last night was a lot of fun. This morning, we are brought to you back by APAC Orcola. They have immediate job openings in the Boone, Marion, and Baxter County area. If you're a licensed CDL driver, heavy equipment operator, concrete finisher, diesel mechanic, or paving or concrete labor experience, apply today at jobs.crh.com. APAC Orcola offers top pay, a sign-on bonus, benefits, insurance, retirement, and profit sharing. Apply online today at jobs.crh.com. APAC Arcola is an equal opportunity employer.
State has to offer this year. Explore Arkansas in a new RV from Grand Design, Forest River, KZ, Heartland, Keystone, or Alliance. All the best brands at the best prices. Enjoy peace of mind with our lifetime warranty on every new RV and a mobile service shuttle to keep you camping. So come on in and discover why Wheels was voted the best RV dealership in Northwest Arkansas. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Semaglutide is a weight loss game changer. That's what the medical community is saying about the latest FDA-approved weight loss medication. Peachy Aesthetics and Wellness is offering a detailed program to all of Arkansas. In-office or telemedicine visits available. So to schedule your medical consultation and get started on the #1 prescription choice by medical professionals for safe and effective weight loss while also reducing cardiovascular risk factors, call or text 479-343-8424. 479-343-8424.
Home is everything. It's your sanctuary, your command center, your music room, and your art studio. It's where you eat family dinners and make lasting memories. When you use a Weichert agent to help you find your home, we'll help you find the space to make it yours. When you begin your search, know that a Weichert agent will be there with you every step of the way. Because at Weichert Realtors, we guide you home. To get started, call your local Weichert agent and look for our bright yellow signs all over town. At Weichert Realtors, we sell more because we do more. Each Weichert franchised office is independently owned and operated.
WT Equipment is your home for New Holland ag and construction equipment, sales, parts, and service. For high horsepower row crop tractors and combines, utility tractors and hay equipment, compact track loaders, and mini excavators. WT Equipment has it all. Stop by one of their 8 locations to explore the value of New Holland tractors and see why New Holland hay equipment and twin rotor combines are second to none in harvesting ability. Need to upgrade your construction equipment fleet? Give WT Equipment a call. Come by a store or check out their website, WTEquip.com.
Picture a can of paint. Now picture a professional painter. Now picture a can of paint from the paint store in Van Buren, perfectly applied by a professional or possibly you. Painting your house could be a pain, and people who think painting as a pain prefer professional paint and pointers from the paint store in Van Buren. The paint store has the best Richards paint and expertly picked colors specifically for you. Need a professional product or a professional? It's the paint store in Van Buren.
Hi folks, Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, your home for inflation elimination. We're on a mission to make used cars affordable for everyone. Our live market value pricing ensures you always get a great deal, and Rath Road Ready Reconditioning makes sure you always get a great vehicle. This month, we're making it even easier with up to $3,300 extra for your trade and prices up to $4,700 below retail. We know a lot of people have been waiting for just the right time to buy, and this is it. If you're keeping the car you have, let us take care of it for you in our Meineke Car Care Center. And for a real hedge against rising prices, ask about our exclusive Meineke Miles service contracts and prepaid maintenance products. They could save you another 20%. If you're ready to save some real money on a quality used vehicle and experience a better way to drive, call, click, or come by today. Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, the home of inflation elimination, just north of Phoenix on Towson or online at rathauto.com.
Come on along, head for the mountains of Bush Beer. Head for the mountains, it's cold and it's smooth and it's waiting for you. Come on, head for the mountains of Bush Beer. Head for the mountains of Bush. Head for the mountains of Bush. Like me.
Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2022. Anheuser-Busch, Busch, and Busch Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Tired of constant computer issues at work? And who knows what the real problem is? Is it the router? No, it's the hardware. Wait, they said it was the software. Call Hashtag Managed IT Services. Their multifaceted approach to IT support guarantees that everything is working at optimum performance. And Hashtag prevents the small problems from becoming big issues. Hashtag Managed IT Services in Van Buren. 479-802-4978. That's 479-802-4978. Hashtag technology without the headache.
Locally owned Lumber One can handle all of your building needs. They've built their business on having great relationships with everybody from contractors and builders to the everyday build-it-yourself. Lumber One has a full-line door shop to handle all of your door, window, and trim needs. And along with lumber, roofing and drywall products, attic wall and floor insulation is available. Lumber One also does blueprint takeoff with access to design services with estimates available. So go where the pros go. Lumber One, located on Industrial Park Road in Van Buren.
Do you want to be a part of the team that makes the best pizza and wings in town? Well, I've got great news. Papa's Pub and Pizzeria is now accepting applications for full and part-time cooks. Fill out your application in person Monday through Saturday between 11 a.m. and 5 p.m. Papa's Pub and Pizzeria, 508 Garrison Avenue in downtown Fort Smith. You'll get to make the best darn pizza in Fort Smith, perhaps the world.
Order the double cheese and sausage. Right here, dude.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, we could see the potential for some flooding rains as we will see moderate to heavy downpours at times today. Showers, a chance of some thunderstorms. Our high this afternoon, low 50s north, low 60s south. Showers and a chance of thunderstorms continuing tonight. Overnight lows upper 30s to low 40s. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Carco Auto Sales. Give them a call at 783-1722 or check them out online at buyfromcarco.com.
You're listening to The Morning Rush live from the Busch Light Studios on ESPN 95.3 KERX Paris Fort Smith. This hour of The Morning Rush is brought to you by Bud Light, brewed with the best barley, rice, water, and hops to be America's favorite light beer. Bud Light, please drink responsibly.
13 seconds to play. Shot clock's off. Toppin pulls up, left side, three-pointer, no good. Council with a rebound. 5 seconds. Ricky, 3-on-1. 2 seconds, 1 second. Going to dribble it out, and Arkansas has won it. What a win for the Razorbacks tonight, 88-73. The Razorbacks come to the Bluegrass State and put it on Kentucky.
Hey, this is Darren McFadden. You're listening to The Morning Rush.
Live from the Busch Light Studios.
40-year-old adolescents, felons, power drinkers, and trustees of modern chemistry.
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
Were you going to have a party here tonight, son? I don't know what that was all about.
Streaming live from
HitThatLine.com.
That seducer and spoiler must be stopped. He's extremely dangerous.
This is The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? Stop what you're doing and listen.
The Morning Rush starts right now.
Yes, sir.
Welcome into hour number 2 of the Morning Rush on a What's Your Beef Wednesday. Arkansas goes into Rupp Arena and gets a massive win last night. We've got Chuck Barrett, Ty Richardson with you, 88-73 the final. Tommy is fishing. Chuck, I kind of feel bad for him, man. I think he's either fishing in a thunderstorm or he's not going to be able to get out there today.
Well, it's too bad. You know? I mean, too bad. He's over there in a good spot. He'll be all right. I think he's a big boy.
He can relax.
He can fish in the rain.
Yeah. Hopefully the torrential downpour subsides at some point, or it gets to the point. Well, it didn't subside for Kentucky last night. Arkansas poured it on in the second half, and we're going to talk about that coming up here in hour number 2. But first, I want to talk to you this morning about our friends at Arts Barbecue and Burgers. Listen, the thing about Arts, it's not just about barbecue. Try the Kickin' Chicken. It is one of my personal favorites. We get the chicken fried steak, quesadilla. Now, I put pork in that. It is phenomenal. Anything you get at Arts, it's awesome. And don't leave without trying some of Morgan & Wade's bacon. It is off the wall good. I'm telling you, it will blow your mind how fantastic it is. Whatever you get at Arts, whether it's to go, whether it's dine-in, I know a lot of you around the holidays like to stop in and get a deep fried or smoked turkey. It's awesome. Arts Barbecue and Burgers next to Buddy's in Fort Smith. We're going to hear from Eric Musselman coming up as well as Devontae Davis, but I want to hear some more from Chuck Barrett. Chuck, again, I wish I could have been there last night. I had a couple Arkansas fans that were in attendance, and that must have been one of the best road feelings that you've had, and definitely this season because there's only been 2, but in the last couple of years.
You know, it's fun when you win on the road. It's fun to win at home, too. But when you win on the road, it's usually a small gathering of people, and you kind of feel like it's us against the world. And when you win, it's a small group that celebrates, but that's what happened last night. It was a small group behind the bench, and when it was over, they were there, and they stayed until they ran them out. And that's, that's what you do when you win on the road. But I thought Arkansas, the fans were – and I visited with some people in the lobby of the hotel before the game who had driven all day from Texarkana, all day.
Wow.
And straight through from Texarkana to Lexington, Kentucky. I think they were going to spend the night and drive back. I'm not sure they didn't leave right after the ball game, but they had Rupp Arena on their bucket list, and they 3 of them. I wish I could remember all their names, but visited with them in the lobby, had a good visit, and I know they were happy to be there. And they weren't the only ones. There are a lot of people that drove up to Lexington. I'm sure from the northeastern part of the state and the eastern part of the state where it's a little easier to get there, that a lot of them, a lot of the people in red were probably from that part of the state.
I was amazed last season at how many Arkansas fans made the trip to Buffalo, New York, on the northeastern part of the United States, and then San Francisco on the far western part of the United States. I mean, and I talked to, now a good chunk of them flew, Chuck, but I talked to some fans that drove those distances. And Texarkana to Lexington's a haul, but I mean, Razorback fans, when the basketball team's good, they'll go to about any lengths to see them in person.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how many people drove to San Francisco, but I know some of them got in a plane and went, and probably the same way for Buffalo. You better have a pretty good bank account if you're going to travel like that when the NCAA tournament rolls around. But a lot of people do, and it's not unusual at all. I mean, lots of people do this. I mean, you drive all night. You go to the game, you drive all night to get back home, and, you know, you gut it out for a day or two. And I'm sure a lot of people are doing that, and when tournament time rolls around, they'll do it again.
I don't know if you felt this way, but there was a couple of occasions last night where I was like, this might be Arkansas's night. Jordan Walsh hit that one from the Kentucky logo, which
yeah, I kind of thought that then too.
I was like, man, is this our night? You had Mikal Mitchell hitting that shot at the end of the shot clock, which got it off within a millisecond of the clock expired. And then there was one that I think Ricky Council got to roll in. I mean, Chuck, those are those little moments that have so much of an impact on a game that went in Arkansas's favor last night.
Both those were big shots. I mean, both those were big shots. And that's 5 points right there with the shot clock winding down. So those were big baskets. You know, that's really what made, I thought, the second half so remarkable was that you had a bunch of ties, bunch of lead changes. I think you had 11 lead changes in the first half. So, you know, you had a lot of back and forth, and those were big shots. But, you know, that's really, to me, what made the second half so impressive was it did look like in the first half it was going to be a back and forth ball game. Looked like it might take 88 to win. You know, I mean, that 88 wouldn't be a 15-point win. It might take that to win based on what we saw in the first half. But, you know, Musk said on the post-game show, I think he said we had a very spirited discussion about defense at halftime. And so whatever they decided to do, they went out and did.
I love that he was, because I listened to the post-game with you, and then I listened to it in the post-game press conference as well, and he used that same language, and I guarantee you that was toned down to what was actually said in that locker room. But back to Jordan for a sec, Chuck. I mean, he goes 4 for 4, knocks down four free throws. I mean, doesn't miss a shot last night. There's not a lot of true freshmen that have the gall or, frankly, the mental fortitude to do that in Rupp Arena. And I know he had the 4 fouls, and I know that's something that he's still got to clean up. But, I mean, he was, from a efficiency standpoint, you legitimately cannot get better than what Jordan did for you last night.
Yeah, I think this is the second time maybe this year that we've talked about how he didn't miss a shot. I think the other time maybe he was 4 for 4, 5 for 5 from the floor. And, you know, Walsh is a good player. I mean, he can play. And, you know, you get in a situation like that where, I mean, big-time players like to play in big-time settings. And Arkansas did not wilt in the moment at any point last night. I don't think there was any point where they were intimidated by being there. I think they're past that. And I said this going into the game. I think they're past all this, you know, are they scared? Are they wide-eyed on the road? They were early. They were. But I think they're way past that now. I thought they embraced the whole scene last night. They embraced the crowd. They embraced being on the road. And they enjoyed that role.
Cal gets teed up last night, and I know Arkansas fans took a lot of pleasure in that. But Chris with the great text, he said, you know it's your night when Muss is smiling with the officials on the sideline. You don't see that a ton. Good text from Chris this morning. I think it was Terry Oglesby that I think Arkansas got an and one or something like that, and he's just grinning from ear to ear because he knew his team they brought it last night, man.
Well, they did. And I mean, you know, it was pretty evident early on that Arkansas had come to play. And, again, I mean, when they turned that defense up at the start of the second half, I mean, that was that. Arkansas was in control the rest of the way. They led by double digits from the 8-minute mark on. Talk about finishing a game. I mean, they knew how to finish that game last night.
What you said on Monday holds a lot of weight to what this team did last night. We're going to talk about it more coming up. Also want to tell you about our friends at Hickey and Hull Law Partners. Kevin Hickey and Brad Hull, they are the partners in this firm that understand the importance of client communication, meeting with you, responding to emails, and returning calls. At Hickey and Hull, you can trust them to guide you, whether it's through a divorce, custody case, criminal charges, civil lawsuits. They can help you out. Visit them at kevinhickeylaw.com or give them a call today to schedule your consultation. Hickey and Hull Law Partners. Things are about to get better. When we return, we're going to get into our Morning Rush Daily Question. Also, more Arkansas basketball as they win by 15 in Rupp last night.
Arkansas's home for the best sports talk.
Good morning, gentlemen. Thank you for taking my call today. And good morning to this great fan base.
Wheels RV wants you to seek out all the natural state has to offer this year. Explore Arkansas in a new RV from Grand Design, Forest River, KZ, Heartland, Keystone, or Alliance. All the best brands at the best prices. Enjoy peace of mind with our lifetime warranty on every new RV and a mobile service shuttle to keep you camping. So come on in and discover why Wheels was voted the best RV dealership in Northwest Arkansas. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Making Moves is brought to you by LinkedIn Jobs.
After redshirting his first year at Ohio State, Joe Burrow spent the next 2 years as J.T. Barrett's backup. With Dwayne Haskins on the roster, Burrow didn't see much playing time and decided to transfer. LSU head coach Ed Orgeron zeroed in on Burrow and landed him. In his second season at LSU, Burrow led the Tigers to a 15-0 record, a national championship, and arguably the best season ever by a college quarterback.
Build your winning team today. Go to linkedin.com/sports.
Teams that win college bowls have great recruits, and great recruiting starts with great conversations. That's why when you post a job for free, LinkedIn Jobs taps into a network of over 875 million professionals to find the right people for your role. LinkedIn Jobs helps you narrow down to only the most qualified candidates, which means you can start hiring the right people faster. Go to linkedin.com/sports to post your job for free. That's linkedin.com/sports. Terms and conditions apply.
Hi, this is Ricky Smith, head basketball coach for the Northside Lady Bears. I dial 782-8940. That's 782-8940.
This is Northside head basketball coach Eric Burnett. I call 782-8940. That's 782-8940.
Take advantage of York Factory rebates on high-efficiency HVAC products.
782-8940.
Harry Robinson Buick GMC wants to buy your vehicle, and they'll pay top dollar today. Pre-owned car values are at an all-time high, and your car is worth more today than it ever will be again. If you are driving a 2013 model or newer with 120,000 miles or less, bring it to Harry Robinson Buick GMC, and they will pay you more for your trade. Even if you don't want to buy a new car, they will still buy yours. Harry Robinson Buick GMC, exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
Have a loan with a variable to balloon rate? That might be a problem if it's due to reprice soon. Let Farm Credit fix your problem with a long-term fixed interest rate loan. Farm Credit's terms are the longest in the ag industry, ensuring you'll have peace of mind for years to come. At Farm Credit, you have nothing to lose. When rates begin to drop, you can easily readjust your rate again with no refinancing application, no new appraisals, no new title work. We make it simple. Find a Farm Credit office near you at myaglender.com. Equal housing lender.
You have a job, kids, and a million things to do in no time, and now your car needs to be serviced or fixed or tires? Jody'sAuto.com will make your life easier. Free shuttle service. Pickup delivery service free when you spend $75 and only $10 if less. Jody'sAuto.com will make your life easier and take better care of your vehicle at the same time. Hi, Kim Bircher. See, the thing is, Jody'sAuto.com does everything. Everyday oil change specials. Tires are price matched, including the warehouse clubs and all the best brands. Any services, brakes, alignments, all the way to engines, and any maintenance. You are trusting your vehicle to a local company in business for 37 years. Voted best of the best time and time again. Honesty and customer service is always our number one goal. We will make your life much easier. Jody'sAuto.com. JODYS Auto.com.
Tired of constant computer issues at work? And who knows what the real problem is? Is it the router? No, it's the hardware. Wait, they said it was the software. Call Hashtag Managed IT Services. Their multifaceted approach to IT support guarantees that everything is working at optimum performance. And Hashtag prevents the small problems from becoming big issues. Hashtag Managed IT Services in Van Buren. 479-802-4978. That's 479-802-4978. Hashtag technology without the headache.
What's new in 23 at the Golf Nut? Peen G430 woods and irons arriving January the 26th, and tailor-made Stealth 2 woods arriving February 17th. New Titleist Pro V1 will be in stock January the 24th. Book a time on their Hitty base with the TrackMan technology, or play a round of golf on one of their mini courses like Bethpage Black or Pebble Beach. Stop by the Golf Nut today, 5121 Towson Avenue in Fort Smith. Your #1 golf shop since 1994.
Are you a qualified CDL driver with local or over-the-road experience? Tired of driving older equipment? Not having enough home time? Feel like a number? You need Patriot Transport. Patriot Transport, based in Centerville, with locations in Russellville and Van Buren, provides you with late model equipment, has a family atmosphere, and provides you the opportunity to make $95,000 per year. Patriot Transport works with you to get the miles you want and the family time you need. Change your life today. Visit patriottransport.com to apply. That's patriottransport.com.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3. It's time for the Red River Dodge Morning Rush Daily Question. Red River Dodge in Heber Springs, Arkansas's #1 Ram dealer. Log on at redriverdodge.com.
Your Honor, I'd like to ask for a recess.
I'd like an answer to the question, Judge.
The court will wait for an answer.
So the basketball team has won 5 straight conference games, and they've done it with defense. Last night, best offensive output this season. Best offensive output ever by an SEC team in Rupp, or at least tied for that fact. So I want to ask you this morning at 877-377-6963, how would you describe this Arkansas basketball team right now? I'll hit it first. Tenacious. They have just been consistently on every pass, on every ball screen, on every little offensive set that the opposing team runs. They're in your face. I mean, Kentucky saw it firsthand the second half. Now, a lot more in the second half than they did the first. But, Chuck, I like how you framed it. These guys are playing for each other. They're playing so collectively as a team right now, and it's just so difficult to score on these guys for a long stretch throughout a 40-minute basketball game.
Well, they've been relentless. Tenacious is a good way to describe it. They, the thing that I've been impressed by with this team, and not just in this stretch, I'm talking about maybe even in the stretch where they were trying to bounce back. When they were at 1-5, they've always kept coming. They've never stopped playing. There's always something. And I said this 3 or 4 weeks ago. You're not going to pick up a box score after any of these games and look at it and go, wow, boy, that team, everything's perfect. There's going to be some things that you can pick apart after every ball game. Not so many last night, but, they have just kept coming. They've kept playing. They've kept trying to figure it out. The sum's greater than the parts right now. And that's, when you lose what they lost in terms of personnel, and, you can say that 6 weeks later that the sum's greater than the parts, then you've kept coming, and they should be proud of that.
They refused to quit even at 1-5. Now, the last 2 seasons, there was sufficient evidence that this could happen. It has happened. You're above 500 for the first time in league play this year, and you've got a decent Mississippi State team coming into your house on Saturday. They played well on the road at points. Ask Alabama, ask some other teams. So this is not going to be a walk in the park. And you just had your best win of the season, so you can't have a lapse on Saturday. But you're in a great spot right now because with your 4 road games that you had in Lexington, in College Station, in Tuscaloosa, in Knoxville, that is a brutal road schedule in 8 games. You picked off the first one. Now, can you pick off the other 3? I don't know. Can you get all your 4 home games the rest of the way? I don't know. But that win last night sets the tone for the rest of the way in conference, Jock.
Well, it could. It certainly could. You've got 7 games left, and a win like last night's something that you certainly can build off of. But, you got to keep winning. You got to keep doing it. And, we're at the time of the season when every game seems to matter an awful lot. It's either a game that, got to win this game, or can't lose this game. You look at Arkansas's schedule, and there's a mix of that. There's some games in there that you look at and you say, man, we can't lose that game. There's some other games in there that, you think this is going to be tough. But so that's the same thing everybody's got. Right now Arkansas is tied with Missouri in the standings. Missouri won last night. They got to go to Tennessee this weekend. And Arkansas's got Mississippi State. You got a chance to pick up a game there maybe. So, we'll see how it goes. But you got to keep playing. And Mississippi State's not going to have any – they don't care about what happened in Lexington. I'll just put it that way.
And last thing on this, I think this is important to mention. Right now, the way that Tennessee, that Alabama, and also A&M are playing. A&M got a big win last night against Auburn. They sweep them in their season series. It's going to be really difficult to get in the top three, but with Auburn dropping off a little bit, you beating Kentucky, that 4 spot in the SEC tournament is up in the air right now. You're going to have to go on a massive run down the stretch to get it, but it by no means is locked in, as the other 3 are, but it's going to be really difficult to get in that top 3. Chuck, you know as well as I do, those first 2-day buys, Wednesday and Thursday in the SEC tournament, they're crucial. If Arkansas can somehow inch into that, that's a big heading into Nashville.
Well, it helps. It helps. When teams go to Nashville, they have different agendas. Everybody's got a different agenda. Sometimes they're similar, with 2 or 3 teams, but lots of teams go in there with different things to play for. And we talk about, if you get to Friday, if you get the bye to Friday, then you win the thing. But the biggest thing is to make sure that you're ready to go the next week. We've seen Arkansas. What have they bowed out? Has it been Saturday? I think the last couple of years, and they've still made it to the Elite Eight. So, you'd like to get that double bye because it signifies that you're one of the better teams in the country and you're going to be in the big dance. And that's the big thing that I look at. If you don't play till Friday in the conference tournament, you're probably in a pretty good shape, pretty good spot for the next week.
That is your Red River Dodge Morning Rush Daily Question. Red River Dodge in Heber Springs, Arkansas's #1 Ram dealer. Log on at redriverdodge.com.
This hour of Chuck Barrett on the Morning Rush is presented by V's Barbershop with 2 locations in Rogers and Bentonville. Visit V's Barbershop online at vbarbershop.com or in person and see why V's is a cut above the rest.
All right, still a lot to get into in regards to this basketball win last night. There's a lot of guys we've given credit for this morning based on the way they played, and I don't think this can go unnoticed. This is the first time in program history where you've beaten Kentucky in back-to-back games inside of Rupp Arena. Now, these, again, are not vintage Kentucky teams, but Chuck, regardless of who Cal or Tubby Smith or Patino or Rupp or whoever's putting on the floor, it's not easy to win at Rupp. And I guess Rupp wasn't putting on dudes at Rupp Arena because there wasn't a Rupp Arena, but that is just not an easy place to go win a basketball game.
No, it's not, and it's one of the tougher venues, one of the more storied venues. It's kind of like Bud Walton Arena, though, in that, the opposing team gets excited to play in there, too. I'll tell you one thing I noticed last night, and I think this is a big difference. It was probably, 30 minutes before tip-off, and I would say the student section was maybe about a third full. Now, it filled up. By the time the game started, they were there, but my point is if you'd played Kentucky at Bud Walton Arena, an hour and a half when those doors open, it'd have been like, you're racing down to the front row at a concert. It's you're trying to get the best seat, and they flood in. And I've seen games there where an hour before tip, our student section was shoulder to shoulder. So I was a little surprised by that, to be real honest. But they filled it up. There were roughly 20,000 there, and it's an imposing place.
Chuck, you bring that up. Hogstats had this great tidbit for us this morning. That is the worst attended Arkansas-Kentucky game inside of Rupp, only second to the COVID year. So really it's the worst because you can't really count the COVID year. And your point about that, about our student section. One of my favorite images and videos is one that Zeb Wilson caught in the game last year against Auburn. You got Cam Little, who's sprinting down the bleachers to get a front row spot. He's one of those first students in the front row of that Arkansas-Auburn game. I remember when I was a student, when we weren't even that good. It was that same way. If you had a big-time opponent stepping in, I mean, you had to get there 3 hours before the game if you wanted a good spot in that line. And it was just, it's just different at Bud Walton, man. I know Rupp's a great place, and I know there's a lot of great players that have been in, but I've been to games there. It's not Bud Walton Arena.
Well, I'm sure Bud Walton Arena will be rocking Saturday. There's no doubt about that. And, Kentucky's had success for so long that I'm not going to say they're spoiled, but they are one of the blue bloods. There's no doubt about that. And they love their basketball, and they're not real happy right now. But, it's fun to watch them leave. I'll put it that way. They emptied out in a hurry.
Oh, yes, it was. Yes, it was. Let's talk to Philip, who's north of us in Bentonville this morning. Philip, you're on the Morning Rush.
Hey, good morning, guys. Hey, I just want to tell you this real quick. The reason why Tommy had to take a break, because he had to ref the barn burner up here in Bentonville, the Battle of Bentonville last night, and it went down the wire. So I think he kind of needed a break anyway from that last night. But the reason why I called is looking at the standings from last night after the game it really tells how important, those games that we were up, like Vanderbilt and stuff like that. And if we would have won that, you're looking at from the standing we're at, we're in the top 3, top 4 in the standings just by one game, And so these games are very important now because, those early losses are now coming back. And if you would have went one way this way or something like that, instead of sitting in the middle of the pack and bunched up, you're sitting in the top 3, top 4.
Well, they were not as good then as they are now. That's why they lost those games. They were not as good then as they are now. Mm-hmm. And they progressed as teams are supposed to do during the season. And yeah, look, it'd be nice to be at the top of the league standings. Nobody's disputing, man, it sure would be nice to win the SEC regular season, win the tournament, and then go win the whole thing too. I mean, that'd be great. But the most important thing is to make certain that you're in a good position when the NCAA tournament rolls around. As we've seen, you can make a deep run without having won the conference or without having won the conference tournament. It'd be nice to take this team now the way they're playing and, hey, let's go replay that game in Baton Rouge. Let's go replay that game in Nashville. Let's go replay that game somewhere else. And but you can't. And they're in a decent spot right now.
I've already gotten a couple of Final Four texts this morning, Chuck. And that's,
well, I don't know. I mean, hey, when you win a game, and look, we've talked about this. When you win a big game, suddenly everything seems possible again. And we'll have to see how all this transpires as we go forward. And but I think they've rebounded. They're playing well. This is an NCAA tournament team again. Where they're going to be seated, I have no idea. But I don't expect them to collapse. I think this is a team that'll be part of the field.
We were looking at the NCAA tournament first and second round sites, and it would be Arkansas's luck to end up in Albany or Sacramento. Those are the farthest destinations for this first and second round. Now, there's a couple closer one like Des Moines, Iowa, which is probably only about a 5 or 6 hour drive from Northwest Arkansas. Birmingham, Alabama, there's Arkansas connections there. And I know we're still about a month away from that. But, Chuck, after going to Buffalo and San Francisco last year, if this team does indeed make the tournament, I'm hoping it's a little closer to home.
Well, that'd be nice. But, I mean, you have to earn that. I mean, that's not given. They're not going to, say, oh, hey, we want to put Arkansas here because their fans travel. They're not going to do that. Last year Arkansas went from Tampa, Florida, to Buffalo, New York, to San Francisco. And you're a long way from home on all of them. And, it may be that way again. I don't know. But they're not going to seed Arkansas based on fans. That isn't going to happen.
Nope, it's not. Again, our number is 877-377-6963. We're reacting to Arkansas's 88-73 victory over the Kentucky Wildcats. Chuck, how about Musk getting to 200 wins last night? Special place in Rupp to accomplish that feat.
200 career wins. Obviously, that's that includes his time in Nevada. I think he's up to 90 at Arkansas now. So that's a lot of wins in a short amount of time. So for Musk's track record speaks for itself. He knows what he's doing, and he knows how to get his teams to play well at the right time. He did it in Nevada, and that's what got him this job. And he's doing the very same thing here. And basketball's such a long season. It is such a long season. There's such an ebb and a flow to a basketball season. And he's proven that he knows how to get his team playing well at the right time. Hey, let me talk just for a second to those of you who are in Northwest Arkansas and maybe down in the central part of our state, too. You've heard me talk about V's Barbershop. V's Barbershop is a full-service barbershop, and that means they do much more than just provide a great haircut. They believe a haircut should be a ritual, kind of a nostalgic experience. It goes back to maybe a simpler time when they had real barber chairs and hot lather and straight-edge razor shaves, the kind of barbershop we remember when we were growing up. Well, V sets a new standard for barbershops because it's not just about the haircut, and it's not just about a particular age group, young, old, everybody in between. They can take care of you. They've also got shampoos. You can get a facial and a massage, straight razor shave. They'll trim your beard. They'll shine your shoes. They got a lot of services at V's Barbershop. Now, they got 2 locations in Northwest Arkansas. They're in Bentonville on Southwest 14th Street. That's just west of 71B, 100 Southwest 14th Street. They're also in Rogers in the Pleasant Crossing Shopping Center. If you're in Little Rock, they've got a location on Cantrell Road and another out on Chenal Parkway, or you can always log on to vbarbershop.com.
I know we got a lot of reactions this morning. We're going to take Levi's, who's in Harrison. Levi, you were on the Morning Rush, man.
Good morning, guys. How's it going?
Good, man.
Good.
Hey, just talking about the game last night, I mean, what you were saying, this team watching last night is a different ball game than what it was at the first of the season. One thing that stuck out to me was the defense that they played. I've always heard defense wins ball games, and I think that's what really got it started last night for this team was, I mean, these Mitchell boys just come out, and they were ready to play, and, just blocks, and, they just stopped that number 34 for Kentucky. I mean, he couldn't do anything, and I think that was a big part of maybe the way that they had planned out the ball game, the way that they prepared for it. But, that defense just shut them down, and I think that's what got our offense going.
And absolutely.
Well, there's no doubt the first couple of minutes of the second half were key in that regard. I think that's when Arkansas took control of the game. It was 41-40 at halftime, so nobody was really D'ing anybody up in the first half. The defense started really just from the beginning of the second half. And, that's when Arkansas took control of the game, and they never gave it up.
I want to say this about Mykal Mitchell. Muss has talked about this. His teammates have talked about this. There was a point in the season this guy wasn't playing a lick. He was kind of like Trey Wade last year, just wasn't playing, getting spot minutes here and there, and not getting what he was hoping from a contribution standpoint. Some guys might mail it in. They might not put a lot of effort in practice. But from what we heard, this guy was still giving it 100%, and he's gotten his chances the last few games. And what has he done? He's delivered. He had a plus-minus last night of 20. Oscar Tshiebwe, a guy that came in as a National Player of the Year candidate, he had 7 of 7. 7 points, 7 boards. Mykal was on him the majority of last night and shut him down. He ended up with, 5 blocks or whatever it was? Mykal Mitchell has been a phenomenal player for this basketball team. And to see your brother, your twin brother, I might add, have the majority of success early on, that might tick some players up. But apparently he was a really good teammate during that time, Chuck, and now he's getting his opportunities, making the most of it.
Well, both those guys have really been integral this year in terms of what Arkansas has done. I think both of them are skilled big men. They've got ball skills, and that's what gives them a chance to be good on both ends. If you got a guy with ball skills on the offensive end, if you can get him to play defense, he's probably going to be a good defender too. And both these guys, when coaching twins, I'm sure has got to be a different deal. Now, he had some experience with that Muss did out at Nevada. That might have something to do with the fact that the Mitchells are here. But, what you say to one, you say to the other. And how you coach one is again, I don't know exactly how you maneuver all that. But, both these guys, and Mikel's probably a little more vocal than what Mackay is, although both of them can be. And I just think they're skilled big men. They can run the floor. They can roll to the rim. They can catch the pass. And they can get a good shot off after they do. Sometimes with big guys, it's an either or. And they can do both. They can catch it and then score. And so I've thought all season long as it's progressed, both those guys have gotten better. You got to remember, and I give the players credit for this, and I give the coaches credit for this. These guys were at Maryland. They were at Rhode Island. Now they're at Arkansas. Their greatest success has obviously come at Arkansas. Now the players are the ones that are doing it, so you got to give them the bulk of the credit. But I don't think it's coincidental that it's happening while they're at Arkansas. Now they're older now. They're more mature. This is probably their last go-around. They're seniors. But I do think that they've gotten better as players here. And, they're enjoying the fruits of their labor right now, so good for them.
It's been fun to watch their development this season and then put in the work that's led to these type of performances. Let's talk to Charlie in Camden. Charlie, good morning.
Good morning, guys. Man, really shocked last night the way it happened. But I'll tell you what, I'm going to give this team a whole lot of credit. I could argue that this has been, and Muss is a great coach, but this season, with what they've had to go through with the injuries and things of that nature, this has been arguably, he could, depending on how the season turns out, he might win SEC Coach of the Year. I don't know. Granted, I may be kind of reacting in the moment, but, if they were to, finish really well, I mean, guys, we lost two of our best players. And I don't think people understand how hard that was for this team to adjust to the fact that they lost two of their best players. And one hopefully going to get to come back here soon. But the job Muss has done, I mean, this is remarkable. This is different than the last 2 years because they didn't have those type of injuries. So, I'm so proud of this team. And I'll tell you what, guys, the twin thing is a real thing. I played with two twins, offensive linemen. There was a guy talking crap on the other team. I'll never forget it. Talking crap to one of the other ones. And they both played guard. And the other one on one play decided, I'm not going to do my assignment on this play. I'm just going to go pancake this guy. He never said another word the rest of the game. So it is a real thing, the whole twin power, twin magic, or whatever you want to call it. And it's so cool to see them both rooting each other on. And before I get off, guys, I was back and forth with that game and the OKC and Laker game last night. And to see Isaiah Joe and Jalen Williams out there competing against LeBron and actually playing well, it was so fun to watch. And then what LeBron was able to do, congrats to him. No matter who you root for, no matter what era you root for, what player, I just appreciate greatness. Kareem was great, Jordan was great, Kobe was great, but LeBron is great too in his own right. So it was just unbelievable to watch last night and to see Jay Will and Isaiah Joe play well and not back down and then find a way to win that game. That was awesome too. Anyways, guys, thanks. I'll hang up and listen.
Charlie, appreciate that. I do want to ask Chuck about that because this is a difference of eras. Having watched different guys. Kareem was excellent in his own right. It was kind of cool to see last night. But to your point about the Hogs in that game, Jalen Williams ended up with 14 points, had 7 rebounds and 7 assists, took a charge on LeBron. Isaiah's been one of the best three-point shooters in the league this year. He cans 5 threes last night for the Oklahoma City Thunder, and as Charlie said, they win 133-130 over the Lakers, even though LeBron broke the scoring record all time. Now, Tommy's not with us this morning, as you may have heard, and he's actually at a place that I'm about to tell you about. That is Gaston's White River Resort. Tommy's going to have a great time the next 2 days because the fishing there, the food there, they've got all the accommodations you want at Gaston's. It's the perfect getaway. My parents go once a year. I know many of you have a yearly event that you try and make at Gaston's. Give Clint and his team a call, 870-431-5202. That's 870-431-5202. Check them out at Gastons.com. Gaston's White River Resort, a first-class time every time.
Arkansas's home for the best sports talk.
How about old Bart Bielema? I mean, RPI stands for real pizza intake on him.
You're listening.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
The Fence Man, the company you can trust when it comes to building quality fencing and gates, is looking for quality people to join the Fence Man team. If you are a fence builder or have building or welding experience, apply in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man offers great pay and a $500 sign-on bonus. Join the top fence building team and get a $500 sign-on bonus. The Fence Man. Apply today in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man is an equal opportunity employer.
Now that's a dandy white perch. Big old slab.
C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouth.
Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline remains your number one source for all your sports betting this season. Everything from the NFL and bowl season to esports. You'll find the latest odds, team matchup info, player news, and game trends at BetOnline. BetOnline features live betting, free contests, and live scores for almost any sport or game imaginable. We're the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite leagues and events. Head to betonline.ag to join and receive a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Make sure to use the promo code BELIEVE to receive your rewards. That's BLEAV. BetOnline, where the game starts.
Ed Sheeran used to sing in the church choir, but now bad habits reveal his desire. The old saying goes, sow a thought, reap an action. Sow an action, reap a habit. Sow a habit, reap a character. Sow a character, reap a destiny. God knows you can't overcome. That's why the faith that saves is trusting what Jesus has already done. There's nothing else you can say or use or do. Bad habits lead to doom. I'm Pastor Heath from Woodland. Think about it.
Hi, I'm Mike Van Jr. with Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash. You can count on my team to provide top quality pressure washing and exterior cleaning services for your property.
What all do you service?
Fence washing, gutter, or deep concrete cleaning for your home, commercial business, and more.
Do you have insurance?
Absolutely. We're covered with liability insurance, and we also use safe and effective wash methods, leaving your home or business looking brand new.
I guess I need to go to your website, mjmobilewash.com.
Or just give me a call at 479-763-5561.
Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash.
One call cleans it all.
When you stay overnight, you want the accommodations to feel comfortable and feel like home. Well, at Beechwood Pinnacle Hotels, you get exactly that. You can check out all their locations at bphotels.com. They have locations in Fayetteville, Bentonville, Little Rock, Jonesboro, Conway, El Dorado, Arkadelphia, North Little Rock, Bryant, Hot Springs, Ardmore, Oklahoma, and coming soon to Kansas City. bphotels.com. Beechwood Pinnacle Hotels, looking forward to serving you in 2023.
Are you looking for the best Razorbacks insight and analysis?
Hell yes.
How about listening to an Arkansas football legend?
Matt Jones, all he does is make big plays.
What's the voice of the Hogs have to say?
Hey, what a great crowd last night.
Don't forget about the Omahogs.
The Hogs are going to Omaha.
Matt Jones, Chuck Barrett, and Phil Elson, the best in the business on the Hit That Line Podcast Network. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and share.
Riley Farm Dental, at the entrance to Riley Farms, provides every type of dental care and procedures for you and your family. General dentistry, braces, implants, and cosmetics. Drs. Sparkman, Nanda, and Farmer give all of their patients better lives with a better smile, more confident, and a comfortable experience every time. Riley Farm Dental, 5901 Riley Park Drive, Suite A, at the entrance to Riley Farms. Call 226-3500 for an appointment or visit RileyFarmDental.com.
At Frank Rowe Furniture, spring is on the way, and Frank Rowe Furniture is ready. We have new arrivals on made-in-the-USA furniture at unbelievable prices. We have two-piece sectionals starting at $13.49, recliners as low as $3.99, sofa and love starting at $13.99. Frank Rowe Furniture offers in-store no-credit check financing with the manager approval or a SEMA financing or SNAP financing. Frank Rowe Furniture, 405 4th Street, Barling, Arkansas. Best seats in the house.
Where can you get RV show pricing without the RV show crowd? Breen RV in Van Buren. This month only, we are paying your sales tax on all 22 trailers in stock. Save thousands from Forest River, Coachman, Keystone, and Thor. Don't worry about payments for 90 days. Get free maintenance for life and all of your state sales tax paid at Breen RV. Check out the new Sunray that weighs less than 2,000 pounds. Don't wait until spring. Come by Breen RV today and let us show you how easy it is to buy a new or used RV.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game.
ESPN 95.3.
Arkansas football. It's the players running through the A. Hog hats. It's more than 70,000 fans calling Woo Pig Suey.
Yes, sir.
Guys, I've got just one thing I want to say to you. Touchdown, Arkansas!
Arkansas wins the national championship! The Arkansas Razorbacks have completed the dream season!
This is your Hog Update on the Morning Rush. Brought to you by Mr. Sparky. Need a licensed electrician to service your home? For one of their local pros, call 888-8-SPARKY.
There were a couple people watching the game last night in an 88-73 victory, Chuck, that pointed to the slobber hog being on the jersey being for the reason. I'd say it was much more than that based on their performance last night.
I liked them. I'm a slobbering hog fan. I thought the unis looked good. I think it's the 12th different combination that they've worn so far this year.
I think that one was fantastic. Again, that's not the only reason they won the game. Maybe it played into it, but Arkansas gets a 15-point victory at Rupp. Largest deficit that Kentucky has had against the Razorbacks since '94. That is tied for the best shooting percentage of any SEC team to get a win in Rupp Arena. I mean, Chuck, we were talking about the Jordan Walsh three-pointer from the logo earlier. Mikael Mitchell got a shot at the shot clock. I mean, things were just going your way last night.
Arkansas's record for field goal percentage in an SEC game is still 62.7. That they tied it last night, 72% in the second half. That's got to be some kind of record. But they were just, when you can score in transition like that, when you can play defense in the second half the way they did, you're going to get transition baskets. You're going to get runouts. You're going to get dunks. And that's about as high percentage as it gets.
Here's Devontae Davis on the confidence they had heading into the game last night.
I haven't lost to Kentucky yet since I've been playing for Arkansas, so I for sure had some coming in. Just knowing that the last time I played in Rupp with the team 2 years prior to this year, we came in and won, you know what I mean? It was tough. Of course, Kentucky is Kentucky, you know what I mean? It's a really well-coached program all around blue. It's a blue blood, so we just wanted to come in here and just fight, and I think we as a collective group did that.
I want to go back to something we've talked about repeatedly over the last 2 or 3 weeks. That if this team's going to go as far as they can go, Devo's going to be there. He doesn't have to be the best player every night, but he's got to lead them there. Part of leading them there is saying, hey, guys, we won here 2 years ago. I hadn't lost to them. I'm not scared of these guys. We're going to go out there and play. We're going to win. We're going to do our thing. Now, I'm not saying that's the sole reason that they won. I'm not suggesting that. But that's leadership, and that's what you have to have. And, that's the role that he's filling right now. He's playing well. Can't be a great leader if you don't play well. If you don't play well, it's just words. But he's doing both right now. And I do think they had confidence going into that game last night. And it showed in the way they played.
6 for 11 last night. 1 of 2 from 3. 7 assists. I mean, he was magnificent for that team.
The thing that you just said there, 1 of 2 from 3, all right? Devo's hot, man. Devo's been making threes lately. He's, 16 threes in 5 games going into the ball game last night. What's the first thing you think of? Well, Devo's going to be shooting a bunch of threes. How many threes you think Devo's going to put up tonight? Put up 2. because that's what was in the framework of the offense. That's what the game dictated. They were scoring. They got out in transition. Musk talked about this on the pregame show, that, no matter where we are, we got to force turnovers. We got to get out in transition. We have to do that to win. They were able to do that. And, there was just there was a confidence to every step that they took. And when they played defense the way they did in the second half and got those run-outs, they were in control from that point on.
And he had 42 seconds of rest, and he was still able to do that on both ends. And he would switch. He guarded Frederick last night. He guarded Wallace. He guarded some other Kentucky players. He's still doing it defensively as well. But because he took 10, like you're saying, Chuck, he took 10 threes last game and hit 4 of them, 40%. Yeah. And his first 3 last night, you remember, it was an air ball. It was an NBA air ball. He wasn't close to drawing iron. So for him to have the confidence.
I don't know what he was thinking on that one.
He's thinking, I'm hot. I can hit this. And then it didn't go according to plan. But then he banged that corner 3 where I think Anthony Black found him there. The best play he made all night, though, was that transition pass to Mikal Mitchell. You talk about silky smooth over the outstretched arms of Antonio Reeves, and Mikal just laid it up. That was the best play he made all night.
There were a lot of highlight plays. There was a lot of crisp passing. Again, 19 assists on 32 made baskets. That's sharing the ball. That's again, a lot of that is the product of defense and transition. You generally get your spectacular plays off some kind of run out, as a result of a great defensive play, and that's what they were able to do over and over and over again. And one of the things, and Z brought this up in the broadcast, and I thought it was a good point. On the second run out for Black, I think it was a layup on this one, maybe. I forget. But I do remember there was not a Kentucky player that was past midcourt. They had basically pulled up. And, to me that was a sign that they were broken in a sense, that Arkansas had broken their will in a sense. And, they did it fast. They did it fast right there at the start of the second half. But, Arkansas's – when you play defense like that and you score off of it the way they did, you can break somebody's will really quickly. And I thought that's what happened inside the, first 2 or 3 minutes of the second half.
That's going to do it for your Hog Update. It is brought to you by Mr. Sparky.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Chuck, I know we've talked 95% Razorback basketball this morning. Arkansas baseball got some news. 10 nationally televised regular season games. One of the Kentucky games is a part of this. But, we got baseball in basically a week and a half next week in Arlington, man.
We got Arkansas and Texas a week from Friday. We don't just have the start of baseball season. We got Arkansas and Texas a week from Friday down in the Dallas area. So for them to get started, and I know people, particularly in the northwest part of the state, and I know there are people all over the state, but the ones in northwest Arkansas a lot of times are the ones that are they're at every game, and there are a lot of people that get more excited for baseball season than they do for any other season. So. And look, there'll be a good contingent of Razorback fans that travel next weekend.
My brother's going. He lives in Dallas. Several of his college buddies and my friends in the Dallas-Fort Worth area are going to be there because it's Globe Life Park. It's a little different than Round Rock last year. I know Dave and company didn't have a great experience last year. It was cold. It was windy, just not a lot of fun. But, that's a premier ballpark, man. And this is a showcase with a lot of future MLB prospects.
I wonder what the crowd's going to be like. I think there are going to be a lot of people there. They've had some tournaments down there, and Arkansas has been in some of them, but they've had some tournaments down there at these big league parks where when Texas is in it, they've drawn some really nice crowds, and I think they'll have a nice crowd for that ball game too. For that whole tournament, I think they will.
Yeah, you got some quality teams in there. Arkansas definitely being one of them, pretty much consensus top 10 anywhere you look. Hey, if you have not done so already, if you've waited to buy your wife that Valentine's Day gift, you don't even have to buy it. Just enter to win the Valentine's Day getaway thanks to hitthatline.com. Now, here's what you can win. A romantic stay at the Arlington Resort Hotel and Spa. This is going to include everything. Room to relax, spa, massage, all that jazz. Plus a $150 gift card from Richard's Meat Market. You've also got a dazzling diamond or gem from Swift Swift Jewelry, and a $150 gift card to Cupid's in Northwest Arkansas. Check it out. HitThatLine.com/Valentine's Day. Try and win the romantic Valentine's Day getaway from HitThatLine.com.
Tommy Kraft here for the Fence Man. Do you own a business that needs more security? Or maybe you just want a better look and more curb appeal? A new fence from the Fence Man can give you both. In business for more than 40 years, the Fence Man can custom install any type of fencing, gates, and control access for your business. Call the Fence Man and ask about 18 months same as cash financing with approved credit. 479-782-3936. That's 479-782-3936. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work.
Semaglutide is a weight loss game changer. That's what the medical community is saying about the latest FDA-approved weight loss medication. Vici Aesthetics and Wellness is offering a detailed program to all of Arkansas, in-office or telemedicine visits available. So to schedule your medical consultation and get started on the #1 prescription choice by medical professionals for safe and effective weight loss while also reducing cardiovascular risk factors, call or text 479-343-8424. 479-343-8424.
Wheels RV wants you to seek out all the natural state has to offer this year. Explore Arkansas in a new RV from Grand Design, Forest River, KZ, Heartland, Keystone, or Alliance. All the best brands at the best prices. Enjoy peace of mind with our lifetime warranty on every new RV and a mobile service shuttle to keep you camping. So come on in and discover why Wheels was voted the best RV dealership in Northwest Arkansas. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Are you watching the Lotto jackpot? It's over $1 million, and some lucky Arkansas player is gonna win it all. Get your ticket today at any Arkansas Scholarship Lottery retailer or on the Jackpocket app. It could be a life-changing decision, but there's only one way to find out. There's a Lotto drawing every Wednesday and Saturday. Get your ticket and play for this more than $1 million jackpot. Good luck, Lotto players. Call or text 1-800-522-4700 for Problem Gambling Helpline.
Harry Robinson Buick GMC wants to buy your vehicle, and they'll pay top dollar today. Pre-owned car values are at an all-time high, and your car is worth more today than it ever will be again. If you are driving a 2013 model or newer with 120,000 miles or less, bring it to Harry Robinson Buick GMC, and they will pay you more for your trade. Even if you don't want to buy a new car, they will still buy yours. Harry Robinson Buick GMC, exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
Some of my fondest childhood memories are from volunteering with my grandmother. Helping others was her passion. She'd always say, the sweetest fruits of life come from serving others. And she was right.
At Shelter Insurance, we strive to make a positive impact in the communities where we work and live.
Call Phil Hicks in Greenwood or Wade Gilkey in Fort Smith.
Don't you just hate that? Sitting in a tire store waiting room while your car's being serviced? That's the last place you need to be with work and kids and the 10 million things you need to be doing. Well, don't. Free shuttle service. Pickup and delivery free when you spend $75 and only $10 if less. Jody'sAuto.com will make your life easier. Hi, Kim Bircher. 3 locations, 1 in Van Buren and 2 in Fort Smith. One stop. We do everything. So you don't have to go from place to place for tires or service or repairs or maintenance. We are local. 37 years and voted best of the best time and time again. We will pick up and deliver or shuttle you so you don't have to waste your time. Honesty and customer service is always our #1 goal. We will make your life much easier at Jody'sAuto.com. JODYS Auto.com.
Tired of constant computer issues at work? And who knows what the real problem is? Is it the router? No, it's the hardware. Wait, they said it was the software. Call Hashtag Managed IT Services. Their multifaceted approach to IT support guarantees that everything is working at optimum performance. And Hashtag prevents the small problems from becoming big issues. Hashtag Managed IT Services in Van Buren. 479-802-4978. That's 479-802-4978. Hashtag technology without the headache.
We've invented a new messaging system using the crisp sounds of Bud Light. Crisp Code, Lesson 86. This is how you say, gee willikers, it's a hot one. Let's cool down with some Bud Lights. And that's it for today. Bud Light. Crisp. Enjoy responsibly. Bud Light Beer. Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
Hi, this is Ricky Smith, head basketball coach for the Northside Lady Bears. I dial 782-8940. That's 782-8940.
This is Northside head basketball coach Eric Burnett. I call 782-8940. That's 782-8940.
Take advantage of York Factory rebates on high-efficiency HVAC products.
782-8940.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, we could see the potential for some flooding rains as we will see moderate to heavy downpours at times today. Showers, a chance of some thunderstorms. Our high this afternoon, low 50s north, low 60s south. Showers and a chance of thunderstorms continuing tonight. Overnight lows upper 30s to low 40s. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Carco Auto Sales. Give them a call at 783-1722 or check them out online at buyfromcarco.com.
KERX Paris Fort Smith.
Hey, we can't make you a morning person, but we can make your mornings.
ESPN 95.3.
This hour of the Morning Rush is brought to you by Farm Credit. From farms to land, livestock, equipment, and more, Farm Credit finances it all. Learn more at myaglender.com.
13 seconds to play. Shot clock's off. Toppin pulls up, left side, three-pointer, no good. Council with a rebound. 5 seconds. Ricky, 3-on-1. 2 seconds, 1 second. Going to dribble it out, and Arkansas has won it. What a win for the Razorbacks tonight, 88-73. The Razorbacks come to the Bluegrass State and put it on Kentucky.
Hey, this is Darren McFadden. You're listening to the Morning Rush.
Live from the Busch Light Studios.
40-year-old adolescents, felons, power drinkers, and trustees of modern chemistry.
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
Were you going to have a party here tonight, son? I don't know what that was all about.
Streaming live from
HitThatLine.com.
That seducer and spoiler must be stopped. He's extremely dangerous.
This is the Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? Stop what you're doing and listen.
The Morning Rush starts right now.
Yes, sir.
How about them Hogs, y'all? It's a question Chuck asked Muss after the game last night. Why not? You win by 15 in Rupp Arena. You dominate the second half, and I didn't know this until Chuck said it earlier in hour two. You didn't get it within single digits after about 8 minutes left in the ball game. It's a pretty special performance from this Arkansas basketball team last night. You got to parlay this into Saturday night. Muss shared some thoughts following the game. We're going to get into those coming up here in hour 3 of a What's Your Beef Wednesday. And this morning, we are brought to you by Matchstick Studios that has created an affordable website solution called Modular Orange. And you say, Ty, what's Modular Orange? Well, they can build custom websites. Listen, every single one of you are on your phone every day. Now, you're probably not on it 7.5 hours a day like I am. Not great. I probably shouldn't be on it that long. That's the update I get from Apple each week. Keeps getting worse. I need to stop doing that. But every single one of you gets on your phone at some point, and you're trying to find various things, where you're going to eat, where you're going to shop, whatever the case may be. Well, if you're a business owner, if you're a business manager, if you have any access to someone's ear that has a company that you get on their website, or they don't even have a website, you need to tell them about Modular Orange. It is $95 a month. There's not all these, it's not like $2 or $3 or $5,000 or $10,000. Some of these websites you have to pay bucos of money for. $95 a month. Check it out at modularorange.com. It's faster than WordPress. There's not these bunch of upfront costs that we're talking about. Again, modularorange.com, local right here in Northwest Arkansas.
This hour of Chuck Barrett on the Morning Rush is presented by Mach 1 Financial. Mach 1 Financial Group, LLC is an SEC-registered investment advisor located in Bentonville, Arkansas. For full disclosures, visit mach1financial.com/disclosures.
You know, Mason Jones, former Razorback, Chuck, had some interesting things to say after the game. He said this team knew that last night was a must-win, and they won. He felt like they grew up tonight. Now, maybe you could say they grew up in Columbia, South Carolina on Saturday, but it's one thing to beat the Gamecocks in Colonial Life Arena. It's another thing to beat the Wildcats in Rupp.
Well, they were certainly more complete last night on both ends of the floor than they've been, in most of their ball games, maybe all their ball games. I don't know, but they were, they took control of the ball game, and once they got control of the ball game, they didn't give it back. Arkansas got the lead. They jumped out right away at the start of the second half, and they just never let up. We talked about, the double-digit lead. They threw that inbounds pass to Black off the baseline, and he scored right at the bucket, and they went up by 10. And, it was a double-digit game from that point forward. And so, yeah, there was a lot of maturity that I thought really showed down the stretch. We've heard Muss talk a lot this year about we got to finish games, and we've seen leads evaporate. We talked about South Carolina. They had a big lead evaporate there. They won, but they had a big lead evaporate. And, last night at the 8-minute mark, roughly, when they went up by 10, they've been in that spot before. But the other teams come back and made a run. Last night, Kentucky never made a run. Arkansas broke their will last night.
I thought what you said earlier that Z mentioned to you on the broadcast when Anthony, I think, got that second straight steal and Kentucky just stopped at midcourt. That doesn't happen most of the time. You think about Arkansas last night. You outscored the Wildcats 46-28 in the paint. You said a statement earlier that kind of jarred me for a sec that this team, for first time in a while, is more athletic than Kentucky. And I had to think about it, but Chuck, it was on full display last night. You look at the points in the paint, you look at the transition. You were the more athletic team, and you wanted it more last night.
Well, I'm sure Kentucky wanted to win too, but Arkansas, they flexed. They flexed their muscles in the second half, and Kentucky just didn't have an answer for it. And, Kentucky had been playing well. They'd won 6 conference games in a row, and they were, a lot of people thought, beginning to hit their stride, and they may be. They may still win the majority of the 7 games they've got left. Kentucky may be still a team that's getting a lot better as the season goes on. I just thought Arkansas last night was, superior, and you may not play that well every time out, but you might. And, again, when you can take control of a game defensively like that and not give it back, as the game wore on, you could really see the frustration grow with Kentucky. And that's what good teams do. And as Mason Jones said, is that growing up? Well, yeah. That's a big part of it. You got them down last night, and you didn't let them get up.
They only hit 31% of their threes last night. This is the best three-point shooting team in the league, which is kind of surprising. Not necessarily the MO of Kentucky usually, but Frederick didn't hit a shot. Antonio Reeves hit some good threes, and I think he had some other guys, but Arkansas limited them for most of the point. Chuck, how much do you think not having Saphir Wheeler affected Kentucky's offense at points last night? They're really true point guard.
Oh, I think it affected him. I think, for example, if Wheeler had been available, I think he would have started the second half at the point. And I don't know if those turnovers would have happened. I don't know. Wheeler will turn it over too. I didn't realize till I looked at their notes before the game. He's the 5th all-time assist man in the history of the SEC.
Wow.
His minutes have diminished, but he still averages about 6 assists a game. Now, he'll turn it over some too. So I'm not suggesting that would have been the difference in the game. I don't believe that. But Wallace is a really, really good scorer for them. But I'm not sure manning the point and handling the ball as much as he did is really when they're at their best.
I would probably agree on that. Now, I almost had a flashback to 3 or 4 years ago when Arkansas and Kentucky met for the first time with Muss and Cal going at it. And we know that Cal intentionally got himself tossed from that game, and his team responded and ended up winning. I thought he was going to get intentionally tossed last night. He gets that tech in the first half, and I thought he was going to try and get one in the second half for his team to rally, and I was going to wonder how it responded. But you could tell frustrations boiled over for John Calipari last night.
Well, and again, it was over. In my mind, I know there was a lot of game left to play, but in my mind, it was over when Arkansas went on that run early in the second half. And so at that point, getting a second technical and getting tossed, he did that in Fayetteville, I think, but that's not something that you can do regularly and have that work. I think perhaps that night Bud Walton Arena he thought his team was better. As he said after the game last night, I mean, Arkansas was superior in every way. So I thought they should have teed him up once before. They teed him up ultimately in the first half. But he was working them. Muss was working them. I mean, that's what they do. And but, Arkansas was superior in every way as the game wore on.
So now you're 17-7. You look at this basketball team, and those losses, man, they were tight. And I know we've talked about it a little bit this morning, how you have a possession or two go your way. We're having a completely different conversation. One possession loss at LSU, one possession loss against Baylor, one possession loss against Missouri. But, I mean, you look up, Chuck, you're above 500 for the first time in conference play. You've got a home Saturday game, which you haven't had in a while. I mean, you're in a great spot if you're Eric Musselman and company right now.
Well, they're rolling right now, and you want to keep it rolling. I mean, we talked at the beginning of January about how, they were going to have to rediscover their team, so to speak, with the reality of Brazile being gone for the year, and the it was realistic at that point to think at the very least it's going to be a long time before you have Nick Smith back. And, we talked about how January might be a rocky road, that, during the course of the month, you're going to have to do some things that you might normally prefer to do during non-conference season, when you've got time to go to the practice floor and spend 4 or 5 days out there between non-conference games. And it's hard to do when you get in the league. You're playing 2 games a week. One of them's on the road generally. So it's hard to, it's hard to go back to the drawing board, so to speak. You've got to do it while you're playing games. And, we talked about how January, might show the effects of that. But the hope is that a month from now, you got a team that can play. And that's where they are right now. We're a month from that point, and they're a whole lot better than they were. And we'll see what happens over, the next 4 or 5 weeks. But they are in a good position, certainly a much better position than they were. But they're playing good ball right now. And you need to get into that tournament and see how good you are.
You could tell Muss was thoroughly impressed with his team performance, and he's ready for Saturday, too.
I'll tell you what, Chuck. I know one thing. I know Bud Walton will be rocking on Saturday. I know that. I can't wait to see our crowd. Hopefully they get there early. Big game against Mississippi State. We haven't had many weekend games. Let's get that place rocking.
Well, I would guess, Chuck, that 30 minutes before the game, Bud Walton this Saturday, you're not going to have to worry about students packing that place out, much less the rest of this fan base.
You got Mississippi State, then Florida will be a Saturday game, and then Kentucky will be a Saturday game. And those are, there's going to be great atmospheres for all of them, I'm sure.
It is it's a schedule that you have some unique opportunities the rest of the way. Quad 1 victory last night, several other Quad 1 opportunities the rest of the way. I know my favorite website, I'm a big Bracketology guy. I don't study it, but I get on it as much as possible. Bracketmatrix.com. I know some of y'all follow Palm, some of y'all follow Lenardi. I get on there every day. Arkansas right now, it's a compilation of every single bracketologist out there, some of the better ones as well. They're right now seated as a 9 seed. I know Lenardi has them, I think, as an 11 or 10 as of last night, but you still got a lot of ways.
Was this after the game last night or before?
I think Lenardi, as I checked in this morning, I think he had them as a 10. I got to go back and double check. But as of this morning on bracketmatrix.com, Arkansas is a 9 seed, and again, it compiles all these bracket people. So.
Yeah, I mean that's I can see how they came up with that. I do think last night's game will have an effect, as we go forward. It'd be nice if you're not on the 8-9 line, where you don't have to play the 1 seed in the second round if you win. Be nice if you weren't on that line. But if you are, I mean, if you're going to win a regional, there's a pretty good chance you're going to have to beat the best team there at some point in time. You might get a break and somebody else beats them. But generally speaking, if you're going to win a regional, you're going to have to beat a really good team. And if you're going to get to where you want to go ultimately, you're certainly going to have to beat probably more than one good team. So if that's where you end up, you'll have an opportunity. If you win your first round game, you'll have an opportunity to play a great team and maybe put a stamp on your season, so to speak. But this is an NCAA tournament team. I think that's the thing that more than anything right now, after a game last night, you feel like this is a tournament team. And when you play a game like you played last night, you think, hey, let's draw it up, figure out those brackets, and let's go play. And I think that's where the fans are right now, and I think that's where the team is too.
I think I've told you this story before, Chuck. I've got a friend and a Morning Rush listener that last season booked 8 flights, 8 hotels.
Oh, yeah.
And he's going to do the same thing this year.
And there will be others. I mean, that's we've always been a great basketball state. We're a great basketball state, and our fans love basketball. And for a lot of people who are probably of the age now where they've got the money to go do that stuff finally, they remember the glory days. And going on these trips is nostalgic. You know, it reminds people of what they did when they were younger. That's part of the magic of sports. But I do think people really enjoy basketball when, particularly, they're in the postseason and when it's rolling. And we're gonna see evidence of that Saturday when Arkansas plays Mississippi State at 5:00. Hey, let me pause just for a second and ask you if you've listened to the Mach 1 Market Moment podcast. There's a lot of financial podcasts out there. There's a lot of podcasts that deal with money. The thing I like about this one is there are local professionals that are talking about it. And, the recession, that word recession's tossed around a lot. And, these are local people that talk about the recession, the rolling recession, the things that all of us may face when we go out and plan our financial futures. And you can go to the Mach 1 FG website. That's Mach 1, M-A-C-H, the number 1, FG.com. And you can find out more. Mach 1 Financial Group, LLC, is an SEC-registered investment advisor. They're located in Bentonville. For full disclosures, visit mach1financial.com/disclosures.
Love Razorback football, love Razorback baseball, but Razorback postseason basketball is my cup of tea. I mean, Nashville coming up. I can't wait for that. Wherever they play in the tournament, wherever I have to drive to, fly to, I cannot wait. Chuck, we got to find another good steakhouse like we did up in Indianapolis if they end up making it. Like we think
that's about the best one I've ever been to. They've got 3 or 4 up there that are top shelf. In fact, when we were in Indianapolis that year, I probably gained. We were up there for 2 weeks. Yeah. I mean, you couldn't leave back then with the COVID deal. I probably gained 5 or 10 pounds in that period. But I did think for a fleeting moment, man, they could bring it up here every year, and I'd be okay with that. They could make this like Omaha in baseball. I'd be fine with that. Now, it was great to visit Buffalo last year, and great to go to Tampa, great to go to San Francisco. And I think sometimes we lose sight of the fact that these kids, and they are kids, many, many times they're getting to visit places they've never been before. And basketball affords them an opportunity to see places and do things that they otherwise wouldn't be able to do. So I'm glad we go to a lot of places. But the food was good in Indianapolis. I will admit that.
And you didn't even frequent the Wild Beaver Saloon. UNC stayed out of that place, man. Maybe I can convince you to.
Hey, we were running with a higher brow crowd, Ty. I mean, we were if the restaurant didn't have a tablecloth, we weren't going. And we were on somebody else's dime. We were living it up.
Well, I was on Tommy's dime, so it's pretty nice too. Let's talk to Ryan, who's in Hot Springs. Ryan, welcome into the Morning Rush.
So I'm looking at the schedule right now, and we very easily, with the confidence that we just gained last night, that we could potentially only lose at Tennessee and at Alabama. So my question is, I know, and I don't want to sound like I'm overlooking A&M. What I'm trying to say is I feel much better about that game. I feel like going into Rupp is a much harder place to play than A&M. And I feel like Kentucky's probably a little more talented than A&M. And like I said, I'm not overlooking them, but I'm just saying I feel better about that win. So I'm wondering if, say if our only 2 losses to finish the season are at Alabama and at Tennessee, and we beat Tennessee at Bud, what do y'all think the best seed we can get in the tournament? I'm just curious about that. I hope y'all have a great day and go Hogs.
Ryan, appreciate the call. So you would have them at that point going 6-2 the rest of the way. You got them 1 win last night on your way to the hypothetical 6 wins you laid out. Now, you don't play Kentucky, or you don't play.
You got 7 left.
Yes.
So that'd be 5-2.
Yeah. I would say you also have to factor in what you do in the SEC tournament. If you could win it, get to the championship game or whatever. I mean, you're asking. I know he started off by saying, Chuck, I know it's not going to be easy, Ty. It's not going to be easy. But, I mean, A&M just beat Auburn last night, and they're hot in conference play. I know you just beat them. They're going to be gunning for you when you come to College Station. Winning in Thompson Bowling is not going to be easy. Going to Tuscaloosa looks near impossible this season. Not to say you can't do it, but it's going to be brutal going down there and trying to get a win. So, I mean, what, 5 maybe? You top out a 5 seed?
I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure if they could get to a 5. I don't know. That's a big jump from where they are right now. Talking about the A&M game, I looked at the scores. I was paying attention last night. At one point I looked, and before we tipped off, I guess, there was about 6 minutes to play in the first half, 6.5 maybe, and Auburn was up 25-15. A&M had 15 points. With 6.5 minutes left in the first half. They finished with 83, if I'm not mistaken. So, A&M's good. And we get, if it's not a basketball brand sometimes. And, guys, we're 2-7 in College Station since A&M joined the league.
Wow.
I mean, 2-7. So let's not act like we just go down there and take care of business, because that's not happened. So, I think that's a pivotal game. If you beat Mississippi State Saturday, and I don't take that for granted. I've seen Tolu Smith take over games before. I know how good he is. I've seen Mississippi State play well at Bud Walton Arena, so I know it can happen. But if you win that ball game, I just think that A&M game is a very, very pivotal game. I just think it's a huge game. And here's the thing, and part of the reason that they've won 5 straight in conference play now is because they don't get ahead of themselves. Now, we do, and it doesn't matter if we do, but it matters a lot if they do. And, Muss said something a couple of weeks ago. There's always a little nugget or two in his press conference. Everyone goes for the obvious, but there's always a little nugget or two in there if you look. And he's talked about a lot of the things that they're doing right now. I mean, he's talking about so many of the things that they're doing right now, the little things. And, that's the sign of a team that's making progress. But A&M, that's not going to be a pushover. And what he talked about a couple of weeks ago was how, they're just focused on the next game. They're just focused on the next game. And I can tell you, on the bus last night going to the airport, there was Mississippi State video on the screens. And that's just how you have to do it. One game's over, man, you're locked in on the next one. They're doing a really good job of that right now.
And it's getting fed into those guys, including the young freshmen, and they have to adjust to play college basketball. It's been fun to watch. All right, 877-377-6963. More reaction to Arkansas's 88-73 victory over the Kentucky Wildcats last night in Rupp Arena.
Shop local, eat local, be local. You're listening to The Morning Rush.
Wheels RV wants you to seek out all the natural state has to offer this year. Explore Arkansas in a new RV from Grand Design, Forest River, KZ, Heartland, Keystone, or Alliance. All the best brands at the best prices. Enjoy peace of mind with our lifetime warranty on every new RV and a mobile service shuttle to keep you camping. So come on in and discover why Wheels was voted the best RV dealership in Northwest Arkansas. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Roger Scott for Leaf Guard. That's Leaf Guard Gutters, the only true one-piece seamless covered gutter system that's guaranteed to never ever clog that's on the market. And how important is that? If you have old regular gutters clogged with muck and mud and shingle grit, add some of this rainwater, toss in freezing temperatures, and now you got a disaster on your hands. That frozen concoction that's just hanging on could cost you big bucks if it rips away from your roof. Stop the insanity. Get Leaf Guard Gutters and rest easy. Act now and save your hard-earned money by taking advantage of the winter savings sale. Half off labor on a complete Leaf Guard gutter system. New orders only. Some restrictions may apply. This sale does not include material costs, so make sure you ask a sales associate for all the deets on that and the 18 months no interest financing, as well as senior and military discounts. The winter savings sale at Leaf Guard of Arkansas. Call them now at 501-664-5400 or visit leafguardandmore.com.
Harry Robinson Buick GMC wants to buy your vehicle, and they'll pay top dollar today. Pre-owned car values are at an all-time high, and your car is worth more today than it ever will be again. If you are driving a 2013 model or newer with 120,000 miles or less, bring it to Harry Robinson Buick GMC, and they will pay you more for your trade. Even if you don't want to buy a new car, they will still buy yours. Harry Robinson Buick GMC, exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
When was the last time you looked forward to seeing the dentist? Well, if it's been a while, or if you haven't had the best of experiences with dentistry, meet Marcy Van Ash McKinney Family Dentistry. Give her a call at 494-7600. They'll take care of it all. Crowns, bonding, dentures, bleaching, and cosmetic dentistry. Marcy Van Ash McKinney Family Dentistry at 807 South 21st. Call for an appointment today. 494-7600. That's 494-7600.
Help prepare our seniors for the months ahead. Check their heating or AC systems and smoke and carbon monoxide alarms. Participate in regular wellness checks and show them you care. This message is sponsored by Paris Health and Rehabilitation Center, proudly serving our area with integrity and professionalism. For information, call them at 479-963-6151, 479-963-6151. That's Paris Health and Rehabilitation Center, on the air because they care about our seniors.
Tired of constant computer issues at work? And who knows what the real problem is? Is it the router? No, it's the hardware. Wait, they said it was the software. Call Hashtag Managed IT Services. Their multifaceted approach to IT support guarantees that everything is working at optimum performance. And Hashtag prevents the small problems from becoming big issues. Hashtag Managed IT Services in Van Buren. 479-802-4978. That's 479-802-4978. Hashtag Technology without the headache.
Locally owned Lumber One can handle all of your building needs. They've built their business on having great relationships with everybody from contractors and builders to the everyday build-it-yourself. Lumber One is a full-line door shop to handle all of your door, window, and trim needs. And along with lumber, roofing and drywall products, attic wall and floor insulation is available. Lumber One also does blueprint takeoff with access to design services with estimates available. So go where the pros go. Lumber One, located on Industrial Park Road in Van Buren.
Are you a qualified CDL driver with local or over-the-road experience? Tired of driving older equipment? Not having enough home time? Feel like a number? You need Patriot Transport. Patriot Transport, based in Centerville, with locations in Russellville and Van Buren, provides you with late model equipment, has a family atmosphere, and provides you the opportunity to make $95,000 per year. Patriot Transport works with you to get the miles you want and the family time you need. Change your life today. Visit PatriotTransport.com to apply. That's PatriotTransport.com.
Needing your roof repaired? Ramos Roofing is a local company that has over 25 years of experience specializing in your residential or commercial roofing needs in the Oklahoma area. Ramos Roofing, a company you can trust, offering discounts to senior citizens, law enforcement, or healthcare workers, and assists in your insurance claims. Ramos Roofing, standing behind their work so you can stand under it. Call 479-420-9903. That's 420-9903. Ramos Roofing, working with you to build a better home.
It's a new year. Why not put a new-to-you vehicle in your driveway? Road Chevrolet wants to buy your vehicle today, and that means you can get out of your old ride and into a great car, truck, or SUV from Road Chevrolet. In fact, trucks starting at only $14,482. Yeah, trucks starting at $14,482. Find new roads. Road Chevrolet, just off I-540 exit 2A Van Buren. Prices you'll love, people you can trust.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Y'all ready for this?
You're listening to The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
I thought what they did at the end of the game Saturday was evidence that they are learning how to win on the road. Not perfect by any stretch. Those waning moments right there, that's how you learn to win on the road.
All right, more to get to here on the Morning Rush. It is usually a What's Your Beef Wednesday. I don't know what I'm going to beef about this morning because Arkansas Won by 15 last night. Biggest differential you've had in Rupp since 94, since Corliss and company went in there. We'll react more to this game coming up with Chuck, but first, we'll talk about Sassy's here for a sec. There's some beef. Sassy's. Now, Chuck and I are big fans of the wings. I like the honey sriracha wings with ranch. Chuck goes naked with ranch. Whatever you get at Sassy's, it's awesome. Chicken fried steak. I know you're like, Ty, chicken fried steak at a barbecue place? Whoa. Trust me. You get it, you'll probably get it again, and you'll get it again. Now, I usually get the chicken fried steak and wings because I'm me, and I eat a lot, and I'm a human garbage disposal. But whatever you get, Al and his team always do a great job hooking you up. Catfish, burgers, barbecue, and more. Sassy's original location, the Red House location on College, and then also the barbecue and grill location on Weddington. Every time you go, Hogs game are on. Always going to have a good time. Eric Musselman live, whatever the case may be. It's going to be a great time. Sassy's, eat, drink, and be sassy. Chuck, speaking of wings, I saw this. I heard Rusk and Zach talking about it as well. The over-under for this Sunday is 1.45 billion pounds of chicken wings eaten. They've set the line. Does it bust?
Is that just in the United States?
It's in the United States.
Wow, that's a lot of wings.
And apparently, drumsticks are the favorites to be consumed more than flats. I'm
a flats guy.
Same here, man. I like to crunch it and then rip off the meat that way. Ranch. Now, Tommy's a blue cheese defender. That's my dad's favorite, but I'm a ranch man. But this is pretty crazy. 1.45 billion pounds of chicken wings this weekend.
It's a lot of wings.
A lot of wings.
You know, Devo and I were having a chicken wing discussion the other night, and we're both flats guys too. Devo's a flats guy.
I'm happy to know that, man. That is one food that never, ever gets old. I'll have chicken wings at 5 o'clock in the morning. I'll eat them at 12 o'clock at night. I don't really care when, man. I'm just going to consume them regardless. Well, you and Devo, I know that.
Well, he was out at Sassy's the other night.
Okay.
You talk about a lot of things in commercial breaks, and so the conversation drifted to wings. And I said, you a drums or a flats guy? He said, I'm a flats guy. I said, I am too. So we had that in common.
One of the many things that you guys share.
That's right.
Chuck, he wasn't the player of the game last night. That was given to Anthony Black. But, I mean, you've spoken on this time and time again, and you're 100% correct. Just the effectiveness and the lengths this team will go are in direct correlation to how Devo plays. And I keep coming back to the fact that we didn't know what his role was going to be with this team, with all the guards they brought in, the 5 stars, and the different sequences. But, I mean, Muss hammered on it in the offseason. It's like he's getting on to these guys in practice because he knows what it takes to get to back-to-back Elite Eights, and we're seeing this on full display in these last 5 straight conference wins.
Well, we knew from day one that Devo's role was going to be, at least part of his role, was going to be as the leader of this team. You know, he's played in the most meaningful minutes. He's the one that's 3-0 against Kentucky now. He's the one that's been to the Elite Eight twice. He's the natural guy to lead you there. Doesn't mean, again, he's going to be the best player every game. Now, you've got to play well enough to be an effective leader. Otherwise, you're just talking. And he's doing that right now. There have been times when, we've seen players on lots of teams try to be the leader and say all the right things, and then their performance doesn't match up. But right now, his performance is matching up. And he is the guy that has the ability to show him the way, so to speak. And so, for him to play well and be vocal in what he's doing and be the leader of the team, that's his primary job.
Chuck, a lot of times when you see someone shoot as well as the Razorbacks did last night, you point to, they were just knocking down threes, which they hit 4 of 9. You take that most nights, first half.
But that's a minimal number, comparatively speaking.
Yeah, and that's what's so impressive to me is they nearly had 50 points in the paint last night. Devo was slashing, AB was slashing, Jordan was slashing. I mean, they got whatever they wanted at times against, coming into the game, a really quality defensive team in the Kentucky Wildcats.
Yeah, I mean, you just look at the numbers. I mean, Kentucky's pretty good defensively, and they did. I mean, they sliced and diced them. And now, again, in the first half, I'm sure neither coach went into the locker room and said, hey, man, we're playing great defense. Musk was pretty open about that in the postgame. He said, we didn't play great defense in the first half. But, man, they came out and played great defense. And, they just turned it on right from the start of the second half and controlled the game with their defense the rest of the way. And, that's what led to, breakaway slams go in the books as points in the paint, So, I mean, but the fast break points certainly favored Arkansas. And the points off turnovers, they were plus 13 in points off turnovers. And, when you can go into Rupp Arena or anybody's arena and be plus 13 on the road and points off turnovers, you got a pretty good chance to win.
When Ricky threw that lob to AB, did you say Showtime? I know you used that.
I didn't. I don't think I did last night. No.
That was Jalen Graham throws it ahead. Ricky throws it up off kind of a one-pass sequence. That was an awesome play.
Oh, they had some spectacular plays. And look, when you steal the ball and you get out in transition, I mean, you're going to have some spectacular plays because these guys can finish.
Specifically Ricky Council. It's been fun to watch him seemingly be on SportsCenter top 10 at least once a month as he was earlier this month. All right, still a lot to get into here. SEC update coming up. We've got some reaction to what happened last night outside of just Arkansas and Kentucky. Auburn, Texas A&M went down to the wire. Buzz Williams' squad got it done. Also want to discuss Arkansas baseball, kind of their television schedule this year. We got that announcement yesterday. 10 nationally televised games for the Omahogs this season. Which ones those are is coming up and kind of where Arkansas is in the SEC standings right now. All that's coming up here on The Morning Rush.
Arkansas's home for the best sports talk.
This is former Razorback Tyler Spoon, and you're listening to The Morning Rush.
Wheels RV wants you to seek out all the natural state.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
The Fence Man, the company you can trust when it comes to building quality fencing and gates, is looking for quality people to join the Fence Man team. If you are a fence builder or have building or welding experience, apply in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man offers great pay and a $500 sign-on bonus. Join the top fence building team and get a $500 sign-on bonus. The Fence Man. Apply today in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man is an equal opportunity employer.
Now that's a dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouth. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline remains your number one source for all your sports betting this season. Everything from the NFL and bowl season to esports. You'll find the latest odds, team matchup info, player news, and game trends at BetOnline. BetOnline features live betting, free contests, and live scores for almost any sport or game imaginable. We're the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite leagues and events. Head to betonline.ag to join and receive a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Make sure to use the promo code BELIEVE to receive your rewards. That's BLEAV. BetOnline, where the game starts.
Ed Sheeran used to sing in the church choir, but now bad habits reveal his desire. The old saying goes, sow a thought, reap an action. Sow an action, reap a habit. Sow a habit, reap a character. Sow a character, reap a destiny. God knows you can't overcome. That's why the faith that saves is trusting what Jesus has already done. There's nothing else you can say or use or do. Bad habits lead to doom. I'm Pastor Heath from Woodland. Think about it.
Hi, I'm Mike Van Jr. with Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash. You can count on my team to provide top quality pressure washing and exterior cleaning services for your property.
What all do you service?
Fence washing, gutter, or deep concrete cleaning for your home, commercial business, and more.
Do you have insurance?
Absolutely. We're covered with liability insurance, and we also use safe and effective wash methods, leaving your home or business looking brand new.
I guess I need to go to your website, mjmobilewash.com.
Or just give me a call at 479-763-5561.
Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash.
One call cleans it all.
When you stay overnight, you want the accommodations to feel comfortable and feel like home. Well, at Beechwood Pinnacle Hotels, you get exactly that. You can check out all their locations at bphotels.com. They have locations in Fayetteville, Bentonville, Little Rock, Jonesboro, Conway, El Dorado, Arkadelphia, North Little Rock, Bryant, Hot Springs, Ardmore, Oklahoma, and coming soon to Kansas City. bphotels.com. Beechwood Pinnacle Hotels, looking forward to serving you in 2023.
Are you looking for the best Razorbacks insight and analysis?
Hell yes.
How about listening to an Arkansas football legend?
Matt Jones, all he does is make big plays.
What's the voice of the Hogs have to say?
Hey, what a great crowd last night.
Don't forget about the Omahogs.
The Hogs are going to Omaha.
Matt Jones, Chuck Barrett, and Phil Elson, the best in the business on the Hit That Line Podcast Network. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and share.
Have free shuttle service. You bring your vehicle to us and we will take you and pick you up in our vehicle. Honesty and customer service is always our number one goal. We will make your life much easier. JodysAuto.com, JODYS Auto.com.
Riley Farm Dental, at the entrance to Riley Farms, provides every type of dental care and procedures for you and your family. General dentistry, braces, implants, and cosmetics. Drs. Sparkman, Nanda, and Farmer give all of their patients better lives with a better smile, more confident, and a comfortable experience every time. Riley Farm Dental, 5901 Riley Park Drive, Suite A, at the entrance to Riley Farms. Call 226-3500 for an appointment or visit RileyFarmDental.com.
Picture a can of paint. Now picture a professional painter. Now picture a can of paint from the paint store in Van Buren, perfectly applied by a professional or possibly you. Painting your house could be a pain, and people who think painting as a pain prefer professional paint and pointers from the paint store in Van Buren. The paint store has the best Richards paint and expertly picked colors specifically for you. Need a professional product or a professional? It's the paint store in Van Buren.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Somebody said we've got SEC bias. Deal with it. They're the best.
In the SEC, it just means more.
I know one thing. The SEC just got a little tougher.
This is your SEC update on the Morning Rush.
For those that are wondering where Tommy Kraft is, he is having a great time at Gaston's White River Resort right now. Chuck, you can take a gander at your phone. He just sent us a pic of a 23-inch brown that he just caught this morning. So I was worried for him that the thunderstorms would keep him away, but it looks like he's
I knew he'd be out there. I knew he'd be. Hey, you don't take 2 days off to go fishing and let rain keep you away. I mean, you got to get out there. Yeah, it was a nice-looking fish.
Good-looking one. All right, let's get into our SEC update. So outside of the Razorbacks beating Kentucky last night, a few other SEC games, I know that you didn't get a chance to watch it, Chuck, but Auburn was up on Texas A&M even in the second half, but it was the transfer from Michigan State, whose name I'm forgetting, that had a fantastic game for
Marble.
That's it, for Texas A&M last night. He was pivotal. Auburn had no answer for him in the second half, as they have now swept Auburn in the season series this year.
Yeah, I mean, it was, again, I mean, Auburn was up in the first half, and I didn't see it, but obviously saw the score, and clearly Texas A&M turned it around, and you got to give them credit. I mean, they now I don't have a lot of sympathy for them when it comes to Selection Sunday, because I don't care how good you do in conference. I mean, you get penalized for losing by 27 to Colorado State. You get penalized for losing at home to Wofford. I mean, you get penalized for that, and you should. But right now they're playing really well, and they've got it. The last couple of years, this is what they've done. I mean, they've just kind of, stumbled through non-conference play and then, turned it on. And they've got a good team. And, again, I mean, it's not like we've gone down there and just owned them in that place. I mean, 2-7 since they joined the league. So that's going to be a pivotal game for both teams. I'm sure by the time we get there, there's games to play Saturday, but by the time we get there, both teams are going to be talking about what a huge game it is. Because if A&M is going to get in, if they're going to be able to overcome all those non-conference losses, sure would be good for them to beat an Arkansas team that just beat a Kentucky team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they got to keep on rolling in conference play. Next midweek game on the road for Arkansas and A&M, as you'll get Mississippi State at home at Bud Walton this Saturday. So they went 83-78. Ole Miss goes on the road and beats Georgia 78-74. Missouri wins at home against South Carolina 83-74. Those were your games last night. As far as your games tonight, you've got Tennessee traveling to Vanderbilt. That game's at 6 o'clock on the SEC Network. LSU going to Starkville to take on the Bulldogs, 8 o'clock on the SEC Network. And then Florida going to Alabama, which is another 8 o'clock game on ESPN2. I want to know, Florida went toe-to-toe with Kentucky this past Saturday, still lost, but I want to see what Colin Castleton and company can do in I almost said Brian Denny, but Coleman tonight, Chuck.
Well, I'd have to go with Alabama in that one. I think Alabama's going to be tough to beat. I think what's going to be interesting is what we see happen, not just tonight, but moving through Saturday. I mean, Alabama's got to go to Auburn Saturday. Missouri, the team Arkansas is tied with right now, has got to go to Tennessee. So, I mean, there's going to be a game or two out there that I think, if Arkansas can take care of business, they've got a chance to benefit from. And, we are to the point in the season now where you've got to pay attention to the standings. I mean, I've got to be honest. Until this point, I don't really pay attention to the standings. I don't know if they're tied for 8th or tied for 12th or whatever. I just don't pay attention to it. But we're getting to the point now where, you start to look at that. And so there's a chance over the course of particularly Saturday to have a little movement before the week's over.
Yeah. Alabama looks pretty steadfast, number 1 in the league right now, not a conference blemish. You've got 2 teams pretty close behind them, neck and neck, A&M and then Tennessee. And then a lot of other teams vying for that 4th slot. We'll see if Arkansas could inch closer if they get a win against Mississippi State on Saturday. And I'm telling you, that 4th spot is wide open right now. The way Auburn hasn't played as well as of late, and you referenced who they have to host on Saturday, you don't know what could happen. That'd be pretty great if Arkansas could get a double bye in the SEC tournament coming up in Nashville. But
well, I mean, you're only a game out of that right now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're only a game out of that. You're going to play, the teams that have 4 losses right now. You're still going to play Kentucky and you're still going to play Florida. So I'm not going to say they control their own destiny because that wouldn't be accurate, but at least in terms of those 2 teams, they do.
Yeah, no, their games, Florida at home, Kentucky at home, games you could take advantage of if you play right. All right, last thing here in your SEC update. Chuck, Arkansas got 10 nationally televised regular season baseball games this season. All 3 LSU games, a Bama game, an Ole Miss game, a Tennessee game, a Georgia game, Texas A&M at home, and then also Mississippi State on the road. Now, all the games are going to be on the SEC Network Plus in addition to these 10 nationally televised games. Chuck, I got to be honest, I'm surprised that of all the, and I don't know what else is going on that weekend, but I would think Tennessee would be the one that you'd have all 3 games kind of set on national television, right?
Yeah, you probably have to look at what's going on in the remainder of the sports world, so to speak, or who's playing whom, I guess, in the SEC that weekend. You may have some more traditional series that weekend. I don't know. Every time I hear this, I think about, the mid-'90s, and I'm going to sound like an old guy here, but, Roy Kramer had this vision. He told the SEC baseball coaches they built a new stadium outside Birmingham in a little place called Hoover. If you'll come down here and we move the tournament down here, I think I can get us on TV. And the idea of being on TV was like, what, are you kidding me? College baseball on TV? And they did it. And as the sport grew, and obviously the SEC networks, they need programming, they need content. Baseball's right up their alley. But it's come a long way, man. I mean, college baseball has come a long way in the last 30 years.
I know Kramer gets credit from you and others for his hands within SEC baseball.
Well, he was a visionary. He was a visionary in all things. And there'll never be a better one than Roy Kramer.
And I'm going to be honest, Chuck, and this is just my ignorance. I didn't think he was longer with us until I heard him on Paul Feinbaum a couple weeks ago. I know the late Mike Slive no longer here, but I just assumed with Slive not with us that Kramer wasn't either. But then I listened to him on Paul Feinbaum. He's still, I don't know how old he is, but he's still pretty sharp, man.
You know, there's some coaches out there that have business acumen and see a bigger picture. Frank Broyles was this way. And I just think Roy Kramer was one of those guys that when he moved off the field into administration, I mean, he had a vision. And he just didn't have a vision for what was right in front of him. I mean, he really saw the big picture. And, you know, I don't want to overstate the case, but the SEC would not be what they are today or what it is today without Roy Kramer.
All right, we're going to take a few calls here as we close out today's show. Chuck and myself. Tommy, again, is at Gaston's having a great time, just caught a big old brown. Before we do that, Valentine's Day is fastly approaching. And if you have not gotten your significant other the gift of her dreams, lend me your ear because I have it right here for you. We are giving away a romantic stay at the Arlington Resort Hotel and Spas, Arkansas's most iconic hotel. And you say, Ty, what do you get with this? Everything. Room to relax, trip to the spa, dinner, drinks. I'm telling you, we've got it all. Go to hitthatline.com/Valentine's Day, and you think, oh, that's a great... Whoa. We're not stopping there. You also get a $150 gift card to Richard's Country Meat Market. You've also get $150 gift card to Cupid's Lingerie. And you also get a dazzling diamond or gem from Swiss Jewelry. Again, it's valued at $560. 14-karat gold and ruby pendant. I'm telling you, this is the best Valentine's Day giveaway we've ever done. And it's completely free to enter. hitthatline.com/Valentine's Day. hitthatline.com/Valentine's Day. Sterling and Center Ridge, have you signed up for it yet, man?
No, I haven't signed up.
You might need to, man. You don't have to get your wife something if you win it.
Yeah. I need to do something. You know, that day's fast approaching. Guys, I was so impressed with the way the game was played last night, how they shared the ball, how they moved without the ball, and how well they played on defense. And I was wondering, could it be duplicated? And I didn't see a lot of stuff that I didn't see they couldn't keep doing. And that was my frustration with Musselman during the early part of this season, was because he kept talking about not having Brazil and Nick, and we understand that, but he still has plenty of talent to get some things done here. I mean, do you have as much talent that you had coming into the game, coming into the season? No, you did lose two critical members, and maybe I had to cancel my reservations for Houston, but we had no business losing the game in the fashion the way we was losing. I mean, I have no problem with losing as long as we losing, going down swinging. If you catch my drift, I don't want to beat ourselves. I don't want us to make bad decisions. I don't want us to lose our composure and follow suit. And that's what I thought that he was doing last this season. And last night was perfect. And it ain't gonna get much better than that. And I contend if we were playing anybody else like that, it would have been a hard out for anybody in this country last night. The question is, can we keep it up and can we build on it? And I think we can and will. And I understand the euphoria. I understand get the whistle blowing. I understand all that because it's Kentucky. That name means something. Trust me. I don't care what kind of record that Burnt Orange have. And when I see that TEXAS, that just does something to me. And they can be bad, and they can have 85 guys that's 5'2" and 140. I want to beat them in the ground, and I'll be just happy. And I'll storm the field every time we beat Texas. I don't care. But we must remember that we was on the bubble line last night going into this game. Well, last four in according to.
Last four buys.
Last four buys.
Not last four in.
Right. Last four buys. So, and they was on the list with us. So let's just put that a little bit in perspective. But don't take nothing away when you shoot 62% and you share the ball like they did to play defense like that. It doesn't get any better. And Chuck, I do this every time. And Ty, I hope you don't take this as. I don't mean. This is a slight to you because you do a wonderful, great job. So I listened to Chuck start that baseball broadcast in the 90s, and I could, on AM and anything I can find, I had to drive on top of the hill and listen to a baseball game. And Chuck is is a living legend in this state. And anytime I get to talk to Chuck and Clay, it's like a little boy come out in me. I mean, when I see Joe Klein, I mean, those are cats I grew up seeing, and it's just a privilege and an honor to speak to you. And as long as you, Ty, even though you're a little wet behind the ears, have a great day.
Well, that's really nice of you, Sterling. Thank you. I've kept up with you too. You're doing okay yourself.
Chuck, you know this better than I've done. I would, because you've been doing this and you've had a lot of success. I mean, when listeners become almost synonymous with radio shows, I mean, like you said, you've kept up with Sterling too, just because of the impact he's had on sports talk here in Arkansas.
Hey, I've grown up on the air. These people have grown old with me. I mean, I was 28 when I started doing this, and I just turned 60. So we've covered a lot of miles together.
Yeah. Well, Chuck, I appreciate you staying with us long this morning. I know it's been a grueling 24 hours.
It was fun. Hey, it's fun to do when you win. Now, if they'd lost last night, this wouldn't have been any fun. But they won last night, so it was.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Well, man, as we close down here, you got Mississippi State coming in this Saturday. We got Super Bowl Sunday to look forward to.
Oh, yeah.
This is a great sports weekend if you're an Arkansas fan.
Oh, yeah. I mean, but you know, when the Hogs are playing well and the Hogs are winning, nothing else matters. I hope they have a great Super Bowl. But if the Razorbacks are winning, I don't really care who wins the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
I know Sterling does, but for different reasons.
You think he's on the Bet Saracen app?
Well, maybe so.
I had a fan text me yesterday. He said, Ty, should I bet? And he asked me about the Kentucky and Arkansas. I said, look, man, Arkansas, I mean, must hadn't lost in Rupp yet, and this team just won their first road game. I think they cover, if not win. And man, they covered by 20.5 last night, Chuck. It's always fun when you win money. But when the Hogs win on top of that, there's nothing much sweeter than that.
All I know, Ty, is in the last 5 minutes, you've given people advice on how to woo your significant other on Valentine's Day, and now you're giving people advice on who to bet. You are a true Renaissance man.
I tried to, man. We did get a text from Davis in Morristown earlier. You'll laugh at this. It said Oscar Tshiebwe was getting rejected more than Ty at a bar last night.
Wow, that's a good line. That's a good one.
We'll end it there this morning. Well, Chuck, we'll talk on Friday, man.
All right, sounds good.
Enjoyed it this morning. Great stuff. From Chuck Barrett, as always. Tommy's at Gaston's enjoying himself. That's going to do it for us this morning. For Christian Johnston, for the great Chuck Barrett, for Tommy, listeners galore, I'm Ty Richardson. We'll talk to you tomorrow morning.
Harry Robinson Buick GMC wants to buy your vehicle, and they'll pay top dollar today. Pre-owned car values are at an all-time high, and your car is worth more today than it ever will be again. If you are driving a 2013 model or newer with 120,000 miles or less, bring it to Harry Robinson Buick GMC, and they will pay you more for your trade. Even if you don't want to buy a new car, they will still buy yours. Harry Robinson Buick GMC, exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
Have a loan with a variable or balloon interest rate and worried about your cost rising? Interest rates are rising and you may have a problem. Farm Credit can fix that. Talk to Farm Credit about locking in a long-term fixed rate for the life of your loan. Farm Credit's long-term fixed rates offer peace of mind in changing economic times. We're offering the longest